Hello there, great person, and welcome back to Let's Watch and dive into Warhammer 40k. This time we're at Bricky Part 2. We will probably learn more about the factions today, which, last video I really enjoyed it. I don't know what it was. Like, I watched this one video, it might have been Major Kill, perhaps, that was very weird, but no, Bricky, I like him. Like, I really like his style, like, I like Warhammer Luton, so I've done deep dives into every faction from some creators, and now I'm with Bricky because Bricky, he's recommended a lot, has a great overview video, and I know a lot more stuff, and I will just use this to refresh everything I learned over the past weeks. Like, I freshly dove into this universe. It's great, it's brilliant, and so without further ado, let's start the reaction, and let's learn something more about the Warhammer universe. If you like this, of course, if you like the video I'm reacting to, go there to the original creator, like there. I will link it, of course, in the description of the video. And if you like this reaction and my thoughts and stuff, like, sub, share, all the stuff. Tomorrow there will be the Hellraiser reaction. I recorded it yesterday, so you will see it tomorrow. And the videos will come out a bit more frequently now because I'm healthy again. Like, I was a bit sick the past days. That's why no content came. And everything's well. Let's just go have some fun. And glad you're here. So there he is, in front of this background, which is, I think it's the two-headed eagle, which I know is, I think, a symbol of the Emperor. Is that a symbol of the Emperor? Perhaps, I think it was. So let's see what other factions we have and how much I still remember from these deep videos we already had. So Bricky, mate, like, I really like about him that he did some tabletop information as well. I haven't gotten that. I think in some comments it was. Oh yeah, by the way, I will react to, like, I will answer all your comments from the last Bricky video at the end of this one if you want my answers, because I just can't type all this stuff anymore. It's 90 comments. We will go through them after this. You will have the mark down here somewhere. And let's just go. Let's go, Bricky, mate. Just a great guy.
Series on the Warhammer races. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, we do the Imperial Man. We have down in the description, and I would highly recommend you watch that to get context for this episode. If you already have, go ahead and keep on watching. So after an entire episode of nothing but humans, we can now talk about chaos, which involves humans again, but a little bit less. We also got demons and shit.
But I know that chaos is not only humans, it's also the Dark Elves. So it's not just humans. Humans are just... I've been, by the way, thinking about chaos a bit. Like, I really like this idea with the medieval times that one of the chaos gods, who was it? Korn, I think it was born in the Middle Ages, or was it this weird Nurgle thing? It might have been that he was, of course, alive there, and like he bled into our minds, and that's why the medieval times were so bad. Not all of them. That's a myth, but.
I just felt someone grab my ass. What? Like, hard, Nick.
So, as I've mentioned many times before, we've discussed the warp, the immaterium, the hellish landscape, the purgatory dimension realm between the material realm of our existence. Now, in the warp, it's terrifying, horrible. There are demons everywhere. Things are crazy. All your minds and thoughts and emotions get projected there. It is both formless and empty. It is vast and tiny. It obeys the laws of time and physics while simultaneously does absolutely nothing of the sort.
I don't think it does abide to the law of physics. I think our minds carry the law of physics into the materium. That's what I got from it. Because for me, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I've not talked to about this for some of you because you might have not seen the other reactions. But I think what I understand from this is that the materium is this like mind field. It's like a physical field, like gravity field. I'm a physicist, so that's where I always go with explanations like this. So it's like a gravity field, electromagnetic field, like a quantum field of consciousness. And there are, as far as I know, like different modes of excitations of this consciousness field. And that is like the consciousness is linked to it, do that. So there are different compartments of it, like some for the chaos demons, some for other weird stuff. And so that's what I got from it. So, and I think because our consciousness is like connected to, or it is the warp in some aspects, I think that physics are carried from our world. That's how I got it. Like, I'm pretty sure perhaps yeah, what was there before? Like, what was it first, the warp or first the universe? Like, the materium. That's very, very interesting. I have not thought about that. We might do that in the future.
It is a hodgepodge and a culmination of just unknowable, eldritch, horrifying shit.
Eldritch
and
horrors.
there are 4 gods that
yeah.
permeate in chaos and the warp. These are the 4 major chaos gods. And if we wish to learn about chaos, we need to learn about each and every single one of these chaos
They're
gods.
so cool.
First up, we have Khorne, and he is the easiest. Khorne is your classic Satan. He is all about anger, murder, fighting, blood, guts, death. You ever heard the term blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne? That's Khorne. The whole idea is that he is all about the fury and strength of battle. He doesn't care where blood comes from so long as blood is flowing. He wants to fight and murder and carnage and slaughter and death, 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 death. That is Khorne.
Great.
Very simple to understand.
Yes,
Next up, you have
true.
Tzeentch, and Tzeentch is the god of change. However, the god of change, it's permeates in so many different other ways. He's the most eldritch of all the demon gods. He has this weird way to always be plucking at the strings of the universe. He's always conniving and scheming and doing his best to cause as much little bullshit as he can. Tzeentch is unknowable. Everything that makes sense, he will and won't do. Every future and setting and every type of destiny or fate is all foretold and also changeable. It is set in stone while also completely random. He knows what everything is going to happen and also that none of it's going to happen. You would ask Tzeentch a question. That question leads to 3 more questions. And those questions lead to the heat death of the universe, which asks 4 answers to those questions. And then he thinks to himself, what are questions even really? And are you even asking the questions? Or are you simply giving paths to answers and other horseshit?
That is so cool.
Tzeentch is just,
that sounds so
I'm gonna fuck with stuff. He is yes and he is no. He is the understanding and he is complexity. He is unknowable. And that's what the God of Change is about. Very bizarre. And he likes birds a lot. I don't know why.
Yeah, I remember the Rams. Oh, he's got my picture. Yeah, let's talk about Tzeentch a bit. I also like, and first I want to go to this illustration because I absolutely love this one. This is so great. Like, I would love to like paint that, like print that and put it up in my room, or like I love things like this. So he is the god of change in the future, and I think with some of you I've already discussed this a bit in the comments, but I really think that it's such a weird, great idea that he is. For me, he's the chaos of the unknowable future. Like, it's not unknowing. Because he's also the god of corruption and politics, I think, if I remember correctly. And yeah, but this depiction is a lot more mystical. And yes, I agree, eldritch. And he's the all-seeing chaos of the future. And perhaps even more. I really like the hand stuff. I love eyes and hands. I once wrote a story about a horror monster that had that, though it had 6 fingers for reasons, but whatever. Yeah, I love this design, the knowing hand, and it has a name. I think it is a Hinduistic symbol, the knowing hand, but I don't remember what it's from. And I just love this, like the teeth, the whatever. Like, it looks a bit like what I would imagine, what's its name? Yog-Sothoth to look, perhaps. A very human version of Yog-Sothoth. So, yeah. But anyway, let's go to our good old friend Nurgle, Nurgling around. And I hope you remember the Nurgle song.
And that's what the God of Change is about. Very bizarre. And he likes birds a lot. I don't know why. Next up, we got Papa Nurgle. Papa Nurgle, he loves you for who you are. Probably not. He will murder you just the same. But Papa Nurgle is about rot, pestilence, death, and decay. He is the end of everything. Him and Tzeentch do not like each other very much because where Tzeentch represents change and adjustment, Nurgle represents stagnation and death. He is all about miasma and pestilence and large bloated pus and organs and people just being sedentary, sloth. He is the idea that everything will rot and decay and die. Nothing
That's so
is
cool.
certain.
Oh, look at the eyes
besides
on the sword
decay
or whatever
and
that
death.
is.
All of us will end up the same way, and broken down through
Like
just
that,
sheer,
like Cyclops,
never-ending
with a hole.
decomposition. So the
Horn
joke that
support.
Nurgle always loves you is generally because of that, because we all end up the same. We all rot.
I see,
and
that's
we
cool.
all die and wither. That's Nurgle, and he's got a general theme of course, pestilence and different kinds of diseases and sickness and things of that nature. That's generally Nurgle. He's pretty easy to understand as well, and he chunk! Finally, we have the youngest of the Chaos Gods, and that is Slaanesh, also known as the Prince of Pleasure, or the God of Unspeakable Excess.
The Prince of
Slaanesh
Pleasure.
is generally referred to with sex, but it's not only sex, it's just that's a good avenue
Excess
if you want
of
to make stuff.
stuff,
Slaanesh
I
is
guess.
just the idea of the senses of the body being cranked to not just 11, but more like 17. So we'll discuss Slaanesh a little bit more when we talk.
Yeah, but because he probably goes away from her now, I think. I don't know, but Slaanesh, because I watched Hellraiser, Slaanesh really reminds me of the Cenobite stuff with like high sensation, pleasure, and like just do all like it's very primal drive to like be happy, be in ecstasy, and that's what he or whatever is. So
Talk about the Eldar because they done fucked up, but it
What's
or
the
whatever
frick is that even?
mainly
Is it a
about just
demon
the
goat
excess of emotions, and therefore sex is generally a large part of it. However,
What is
it's
that?
mostly pain and torture, lots of pain, torture, but sometimes sexually related or drug related.
does she have teeth on her tongue? Isn't that incredibly impractical? Like, wouldn't you get stuck on whatever?
Lots of drugs. Lots of drugs. Slaanesh gets off on everything. Extremes in happiness, extremes in sadness,
Yeah,
extremes
ecstasy.
in pain and sadism and masochism. And of course that goes along with the sex part of it as well. It's generally referred to with sex because of the color scheme, very purple, lots of exposed genitalia. A lot of their models have
Okay,
like
great.
exposed nipples and stuff. And that is generally the theme you go for from a physical
Yeah, I
side.
noticed
but it really
that.
embodies everything, mainly pain and also the excessive amounts of emotion. So when it comes down to it, you'll find a lot of them have things like spikes or whips or any kind of BDSM style gear because it is unspeakable excess, the Prince of Pleasure. Everything
Yeah,
in excess
Hellraiser.
to the point where it is just sheer frightening. That is Slaanesh in a nutshell. A little bit bizarre and a little hard to describe sometimes, but as we talk more about the Dark Eldar later in this video, you'll understand
yes.
it far
Dark
better and far more than you'd want to. Now you might be thinking, why would anyone ever want to join Chaos? They all look horrifying, screwed up,
Yeah.
and just frightening things.
I mean, do they join? It's like giving into your sin or whatever, something like that. Giving into your pleasures, desires, because it's the desire for revenge or power is probably the first dude, and political power, like power over people and power over the futures, the siege, and power over or like this like laziness. So like trying to not die of because of entropy too quickly. That's basically Nurgle, and Slaanesh is then the ecstasy, and the like pain ecstasy or whatever. Which is that's what I understood. I understood them as these weird eldritch beings that are manifestations of the deep primal emotional longings or fears or drives of humans and other conscious beings, and that they emerge from them, and they are not things like they might have a shape you see, but they're like everything as well that makes them up, like people that pray to them or think of them as a high valued thing, and they give them power, and that's also what they are. Like they're more like ideas, as far as I understood. They are these ideas that attack people, which is lovely. I love that. That's brilliant.
Right? Well, the thing is that, of course, one, your mind is put into the warp and the materium, so you can be easily swayed by chaos demons when they get into your head.
Yes, and because that would also make sense with my, at least how I understand warp, that of course you go there with your emotional side of the brain, like with your more primal stuff. like your primal things in consciousness, which like our consciousness is what, 95% subconscious. You know what I mean? Like our what we are is like 95%. Perhaps it's even not the consciousness; it's consciousness and subconsciousness. And yeah, but like of course you connect like your pure consciousness there, and you've got many primal things in your what would you say? Like not soul, that sounds too techy, I think, but in your soul construct, whatever, you know what I mean, right? Like this thing, your conscious, or your mind, yeah, perhaps your mind, like your mind is there, and it feeds on your mind, and in the mind the most powerful things are emotions most of the time. And yeah, so of course they can get you there,
especially if you're a psyker. Sometimes regiments of the less mentally strong people, whether they be civilians or say low-level guardsmen or conscripts, can be easily swayed by this and become chaos cultists and stuff, and they serve their dark gods and whatever god they personally prefer. However, and this might seem strange, chaos in their own right isn't necessarily evil. See, the warp is every manifestation of emotion and being, every soul, everything of existence. This includes all the good things. All the different chaos gods have another side to their coin. Khorne might be death, murder, slaughter, slaughter, but he's also got this weird sense of survival of the fittest, trial by combat, and honor. Khorne will never lie to you. Khorne will never stab you in the back. Khorne isn't about conniving and scheming. Khorne is about straight up mano-y-mano, you versus me, get in the ring, we're gonna murder each other hard right now.
I love that so much. That's why I love Chaos God so much. Like we did some deep dives into this Chaos lore through the Dark Eldar, through the Eldar, especially, and I think a bit through the Necrons. But I just absolutely love this. Like Chaos Gods, as far as I know, are just like ideas, basic primal aspects of beings, of conscious, of minds. Like they're them manifested, and just because the universe is like in this spiral downwards into like hell, basically, they show, because everyone feels the negative side of these things so much, they have this negative influence and connotation and stuff. That's how I understood them, at least. And I really like that he pulls this up here, because yes, like there's nothing evil as far as I know in this universe, save for perhaps the Dark Eldar. I think you could make an argument for that as far as I know, but all the other stuff is like, depends on how you look at it. Like everything has two sides. Like the Khorne guy has two sides. He can make you not die, and he can make you kill the people you might learn from, or eradicate part of your own species, and and hold you in your development and evolution, perhaps something like that, you know. And because they have to defend themselves so much, they just want that aspect, you know. So it's very interesting. Also, who's telling us this? Like people from Chaos that worship this thing would say, yeah, we survive at least. You don't. Like people run you over, and weird robot drone things shoot at you if you don't agree to their terms and stuff like that. You know, so I really like this. Like the horror and horribleness of these Chaos Gods is just because the world is so horrific. They have this potential for good as well. Like Slanesh as well, she might be motherly love as well, I guess. It's this positive love, but no one has that anymore. So she's just the kind of stuff that just kills you. So yeah, it's very interesting. Like I could talk for hours about this. I won't anymore, but we will go on here. But I love them. I love Chaos Gods. Love Eldritch God things.
May not be a good thing at the end of the day, but it is that other side of the coin. Him and Tzeentch generally don't get along because Tzeentch is that conniving schemer, but he's also about the idea of hope. Where there is change, there is change for your predicament. There is change for your problem. The hope of the galaxy, the ability to bend the world to your will, the idea that your fate is not set in stone, but in reality that you control your own destiny and can control it whenever you want, the changer of ways. That is Tzeentch. And of course, Tzeentch and Nurgle hate each other because while Nurgle does represent stagnation, death, and decay, he also represents finality. an ending. The fact that you can be mentally at peace knowing that you will end and how you will end.
Yeah, it's basically this ancient idea of change versus stillness, of progress versus stagnation. And you have this balance always. It's in civilization. If you stay too like static in everything, like everything around you will F you up because you won't adapt. And if you adapt too much, it's like cancer, you just die. Because you create new stuff and try new things and don't rely on the old stuff anymore. And that's so much stuff to talk about there. Like from a psychological point, like because I did a little bit of that in my thesis. It's very, very interesting to see that. It's such a rich idea, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. That's why I love Pernita and Mimihagi, for all of you Beat Reach fans. I love this idea. I love that Nurgle can be good because you will say like, no, let's not adapt here. Let's be lazy. Let's not change our ways. It will sort itself out. It's gonna do it on its own. Sometimes things sort themselves out on their own. But then again, in these horrid times, in these weird negative times, nope.
Fear of the unknown, fear of change is not present with Nurgle.
Yeah.
With Nurgle, everything will rot and die, and that provides that finality, that ability that this is over. We are all the same, and we will all end the same. We know the meaning of life. The meaning of life is to live and die and rot.
Yeah.
And with that, it brings peace of mind. Slaanesh is a lot more simple. While they are the excess of emotion, they are also the representation of emotion.
Yeah.
Slaanesh embodies happiness. Slaanesh embodies excitement and joy and pleasure, not only in the sense of the physical, you know, bam style of pleasure, but also everything else, like food and drink and air on your cheek and sunlight, the feeling, emotion and feeling. All of that is also represented with Slaanesh. So you have to ask, why are they always represented as super evil skulls and spikes on everything and want to murder everybody? I don't really got an answer for you on that one. My assumption is that because mentally humans may think worse thoughts, even if we don't act on them, and therefore they're projected in the warp more. That one's a little bit weird. I don't know. This is me spitballing right now, but I don't know. You need a super bad guy. You already got the Imperium of Man. You need somebody to be a little bit worse than them. So you got demons. Honestly,
Nah. That's too simplified. But I think that's his hypothesis, and it would make probably sense. But I would probably still go with mine, the way I understood it, that it's just your emotions, and if there are and just historically there were some events that were so terrible that where one of these primal emotions or drives was so overpowered that it just like threw a part of the universe, that it just changed stuff. And it emerged and was dark, and this darkness, like the darkness that emerged there because there was excess of something, and like let's take the Dark Eldar Slaanesh birth. I understand it as, yes, they were doing it too much, and it was more and more when it went out of bounds, and everything went to shit, and then that shit dropped into the other arts of or kinds of the other kinds of emotion, the other arts of being, or whatever you would call the other gods, and then they got tainted, and this taint is just a downward spiral because no one is gonna let go, because because then they start like infighting and stuff, and perhaps I think they might always have been, and yeah, so it was just unfortunate downward spiral, but without them the universe would probably also, like, you need them. Without them you're dead. You don't exist. Like, they are such an important part of being that, like, they in their extremes is the problem, that they exist, but they perhaps they can calm that down. But like them being, we talked about this as well, you can't kill them because then you don't exist anymore. So yeah.
Honestly, who cares? I just want to buy like a bird magician. Look at him. So cool.
I like the
So
bird
combining
magician.
all this together on the tabletop, Chaos Demons are generally very melee based. They run in, go
Okay.
really hard. You have lots of summoning
Yeah.
and conjuring,
That's
tons
cool.
of spells. Generally a little bit frail, but they have special saves to make them a little bit stronger. You've got giant demons and smaller demons. You got hordes of
What
little
was that?
boys and tons of big guys. Demons are as they seem. Demons. Nurgle is slow. Khorne is super scary in melee.
Yeah, I
You've got
imagine.
Tzeentch, who are far more into psychers and spell.
Is that a manta ray demon thing? That looks so cool. Look at it here. It's here. These things look so cool. Wow, what are these like? They're like they're probably not that funny when you meet them, but what the frick?
Spellcasting, and then Slanesh, who is all melee,
Yeah, of
really,
course,
really,
they
really
look like
fast
they
and
broke out
squishy,
of
but
yeah.
in lots of hordes of tons of melee and pain damage, of course. So overall, the demons are a huge part of 40k and a massive threat to almost every single faction, with the exception of a couple. However,
Yes.
the big part about demons is also transferred into the other 9 Primarchs we didn't talk about, which are the Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah. Oh, it's
The horse
Yeah.
and all of his boys, all of them in the Primarchs,
Yeah, we will go to Horus Heresy starting tomorrow probably. I will watch the cinematic thing and then we'll go into Horus Heresy. Can't wait.
they have all also become Chaos Boys, and they all have their own special Chaos Legions, specializing in so many different things, just like the Adeptus Astartes, the Angels of Death, the regular Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines aren't a whole lot different than the regular Space Marines. They have the same armor, generally the same training and toughness. They just specialize in different kinds of things. And also a lot of the Primarchs have ascended into greater is it greater demons? They're demon Primarchs at this point.
That's so cool.
Gigantic, horrifying man-demon hybrids that are pretty awesome. To be honest.
What
They look
are
really,
you?
really cool.
No.
But them
Oh
and
God,
their
you look so
associated
sick.
legions that they are a part of are all kind of going out there and causing a large ruckus for everyone else. Considering the raw strength and firepower of a legion of Space Marines, imagine that entire legion just converting to chaos and immediately fighting you. It's generally
so
pretty
bad,
horrifying.
yeah.
There's a
It's
lot of
very
them,
bad.
so I gotta write them down. But you've got the Emperor's Children with
Oh.
Primarch Fulgrim, loyal
He looks like a spider forgot her eye on his whatever.
to Slanesh. These people, they are some messed up people. They're just sensory overload,
Oh,
tons
it's
of
just a
drugs,
spider.
tons of torture. And I think Fulgrim is a demon Primarch right now, and oh god, I am terrified
Looks
to see
like
what that man
Illidan.
looks like. At least on the tabletop, because Emperor's Children are not good people. You've got the Iron Warriors, which are kind of like opposite of the Imperial Fists, with Primarch Perturabo, I believe is his name. They're Chaos Undivided. They just kind of serve chaos in a general aspect instead of choosing one of the 4.
You
But
man
the
for
Iron
everything.
Warriors are big on the siege and fortification.
He looks like
and they're
Darkseid.
basically entirely against the Imperial Fists and a major rival. Perturabo, I believe, is also still alive, and I'm also very interested to see what he looks like, because Demon Primarchs are badass. You've got the Night Lords with Primarch Conrad Kurz. Conrad Kurz is dead, which is good because he's a sick fuck.
Okay.
But the Night Lords are
Not
generally
Con.
about terrorizing people and terrorism. They're generally about fear, and rightly so. You've got the World Eaters
Oh.
with Primarch Angron.
That guy looks sick AF. Look at him. That's a boss I want to fight. Like, give me that boss to fight somewhere.
Still alive, also excited to see. Angron, if you think you've known an angry person, Angron is the
Angron. Seriously, why?
angriest son of a bitch you will ever know. Angron removed parts of his brain that didn't make him angry, so
Okay.
he could be angrier. Angron. Fucker's
Yeah.
mad. You've got the Death Guard with Primarch Mortarion. They actually have their own special codex and their own major
Wow.
army on the tabletop. Mortarion himself is actually one of the models, and look at
Wow, that looks so cool. And some of you told me about this. Like they are very, very hard to paint these little ones. So yeah, mine are gonna look horrible, but I will show you. I will still show you. The end of the year, we'll get something. Don't know what yet, because I still don't know enough. I want to get the faction that I'm most interested in. I think, and I'm interested in all of them. That's the problem. So let's see.
him. Look at him. It's so cool
the
looking.
eyes,
of
the
course,
butterfly
Nurgle
eyes.
based, obviously. So very slow, but very tanky.
I love
You've got
that
the
design.
Word Bearers with Primarch Lorgar. Lorgar is, I believe, still alive. I don't know what's up with him at the current moment, but the Word Bearers are generally the people who caused all the major problems in the beginning. At least I blame them for it. They're little assholes. You got the Black Legion with Primarch Horus. Get fucked, nerd. You've got the Alpha Legion with Primarch Alpha.
I'm gonna see what that is about. We're almost there. Let's see what Horus did.
Farius Omegon, Chaos, I think. And then finally, you've got the Thousand Sons with Primarch Magnus the Nerd. The Thousand Sons also have their own book, just like the Death Guard. Magnus is also a tabletop model.
Why does he have horns for... I don't know, but his little ball sphere looks cool. Why? Why? Yeah, he looks so much like Illidan. It's so cool.
Looks super cool, as you can tell, and they're all super heavily Psyker and kind of Egyptian themed. They look pretty neat.
Yeah.
But overall, with
Someone told
all
me
of
about
these Chaos Space Marine factions, you can play as a lot of different ones, but the main ones that you can really work at are standard Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, as well as the Death Guard and Thousand Sons, as they are the most fleshed out, especially on the tabletop at least. See this right here? This is a really good way to describe the Chaos Space Marines. What the thick-headed fools with their broken corpse of an emperor fail to understand is that not only can they never defeat us, but they cannot hide or flee or shield themselves from the triumph of chaos. They are finite and we are unbound, undivided. They must not err, or they shall fall to heresy. All who fall join our cause. Every imperial fool who dares to open his eyes is a willing recruit. They strive merely to hold back our fury and might, and it consumes them. Thus, you can see chaos is inevitable. We lurk not only beyond their grasp and at their gates, we lurk within the darkness of their souls, on the tip of their tongues, in their tortured dreams. We are them, but freed from the shackles of ignorance. We are them, grown strong, evolved. We are them, but so much more.
Yeah, because they think after they've got an overkill of whatever they got, some prime thing like, why would it be so strong? Like, why would chaos? Like, why would Space Marines be converted and then be so strong? Like, I know physically, but shouldn't there not be a very small amount of influence on them from the Chaos Gods because they are trained to not fall down? Or is it like they have a very huge brain like this, and they have these borders, but if the border breaks, like all this is there? That was probably not understandable at all, but you know, perhaps you know what I mean. It's like, how does that work? Why can't they why can't they get out of that easier than others? Or perhaps they can?
As hardcore as that quote is, the saddest part is they're mostly right. Chaos is basically unkillable. You could probably get rid of Space Marines, a decent amount, the Chaos Space Marines that is, but every soul that dies goes to the warp. Every Chaos soul will end up back in the warp. And depending on how hard you killed them, they will come back at some point. Every demon you banish will return.
That's why it's called banish and not kill.
At some point. Chaos is unstoppable. The warp is unending. And while maybe there is at some point some way to stop them somehow, the resources to do so, the requirements to do so, are so far beyond the reaches of man and the other races at the current moment that really it's just an unstoppable force that just keeps on coming and it's just barely being slowed.
Yeah, like we've talked about this as well, and I still think, of course they can't be killed because they are part of the mind. They can perhaps be not banished but appeased perhaps, or like you could learn to rein in these emotions, and then you might, like, if everyone learned that, perhaps they will not be at the power level they are currently in. But then again, it's humans. That's the thing about human nature. They are having primal emotions and stuff, and primal instincts and things in them, and they will always be there because, like, it's like in the brain architecture, it's like it's all like put upon, like layer upon layer. Like you don't you don't change things in evolution, you just add on. So all the primal things are always in every creature at the bottom of their evolutionary tree, which is like their ape or whatever, dark elder ape phase, whatever the apes were. So the only ones who might not be, perhaps Necrons don't have that. Perhaps like, but then again, yes, Necrons are not, as far as I know, that influenced by the chaos things. So that will make sense then as well. Interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Chaos is by far the biggest threat. They are without number. Their legions are everywhere, and yeah, they're pretty scary.
Yes, they are.
So I promise we're done with humans now. Let's talk about some Xenos.
Filthy Xenos.
So let's talk about the Eldar, or also known as the Eldari, which are a super hyper-specialized and very technologically advanced race of, well, elf people. They were, as well, responsible for the creation of Slaanesh, the newest demon god.
Perfect.
How'd they do that? Debauchery on a world-ending scale. See, back in the day, it was just Khorne, Tzeentch, and Nurgle.
Yeah.
And the Eldar are very, very ancient. Millions of years.
I just think we didn't see her. I just, perhaps she was not her own thing completely, but I think these parts of her always lingered. They just were like a resonator. It was just amplified 1,000 times when the Elder did their fun stuff. I guess that's how I understand it. But because I think it would be very cool to have like horror stories also in this time we live in here, where like things like chaos bleed through, and we have that as monsters. I would love that. Like that's fun. That sounds like fun, and that would only work if chaos gods already exist in very, very special, perhaps places on several planets or whatever, or countries, villages, whatever, because I just love that. So my headcanon is, and you can please just correct me if this is wrong, but the way I understood it is that the chaos gods always exist. They're not always prominent. They're not always perhaps even sentient, if you can call them sentient. Perhaps they're just the collective unconsciousness, like Jung said, or whatever. But yeah, so just wanted to say that. So I for me, they always are there. Like at least their seeds are always there, and if they bloom or not is depending on the epoch they are in.
These Eldar, however, have a bit of a sensory problem. You know, every kind of pain or feeling that you have is a little bit amplified compared to the normal. However, with Eldar, as their race advanced so excessively, and they became so self-reliant, and everything became so easy, there was no requirement for food production anymore. There was no shortages.
Oh, no.
Everything was basically done. Everyone was so comfortable, and that comfort breeded this weird sedation, and that sedation breeded the requirement for more and more debauchery.
Yeah.
Debauchery!
Debauchery! Debauchery! When everything you have can be so easily acquired, you will end up down this road of pure debauchery. All of the senses the Eldar had that were so powerful, things like feeling, happiness, sadness, and just evil and good, all needed to be satisfied and satiated. And
yeah. So this is one of the, I think that's a question that was around in the end of the 18th century. I think, was it the 18th? Yeah. 18th or no, 19th, end of the 19th century, sorry. The question is like when humans would create all the machines they could and everything is perfect, wouldn't we like die of boredom? Would we and fall into like orgies and ecstasy and all the stuff basically the Elder did, as far as I know, and like would we become Elder 2.0? And the argument against that, the argument against that was that you always find something you could try to create or explore. And that is true because we know they are not the highest technological race, so they could have done that. They chose not to, which is weird. So their drive to explore is probably, perhaps they don't have that really. Perhaps that's the only drive they don't have, even though I don't know how that works. Or perhaps that's underdeveloped, and the other, perhaps that's underdeveloped and all the other drives are overdeveloped. Then that would could happen, I guess. But that's something I wonder about. But it's probably not important. So yeah, they just effed around, had fun, and tortured themselves for fun. Like, why not?
And the desire to satiate these senses grew more and more with worse and worse debauchery. It started off with things like sex and drugs becoming so much more rampant.
Yeah, they've got a Leia there. That's an homage to Star Wars. You can't tell me otherwise. Like, obviously that's Leia.
Because these are the first things you generally turn to when requirements for living are so easily accessible. It would get to the point that made Sander Cohen in BioShock look sane.
Don't know who that is.
This is the kind of debauchery it led to. It was constantly satisfying and satiating these sexual and sadistic or masochistic fantasies that only elevated and elevated. And this was species-wide. People started going down darker, more depraved, and more violent paths as time went on. However, some people didn't entirely take to that. Some of the Eldar were looking at this depraved species that they had become and said, no thanks for me, dog, I'm good. And they bailed. These are the Craft World Eldar. They left on these giant continent-sized starships called Craft Worlds. They believed in learning the old ways of the Eldar and pushing away from this depravity and debauchery and going back to their main roots. And so they would segment themselves on these giant craft worlds far in the outer reaches of space.
So beautiful.
They even had this thing called the Webway. Remember what we mentioned about warp travel with the Imperium? Well, the Eldar had something way safer called a Webway. And the Eldar Webway is actually like a pocket dimension kind of thing. And in that pocket dimension, there were also more horrible, depraved groups and clans that would spend their time in there. And if you imagine debauchery was bad already, these were debauchery X10. So all of this continued, and it bloated until Slaanesh just burst forth. All that emotion, all that mental, thought processes, I suppose, all of this in such a condensed space. Don't forget, this is all being shot, all their souls as well, into the warp. All this depravity right into the warp. So what happened? Boom! Slaanesh was birthed and killed off 90% of the entire Eldar population.
I don't think she killed them. She fused with them, or she fused them together. Like, it's like a resonance catastrophe. That's what you call it when you have like an excitation of a string, and you put the same frequency on and on and on and on, and it will just like absolutely go haywire and F everything up and destroy whatever it's put into. And then like it's this giant energy spike that goes away. And so Slaanesh is basically the dying, or not dying, but ripped apart, molten down essences of these ecstatic idiots. I'm sorry, but and that's what she is. So she they didn't die, they became her, I guess. If that's like, perhaps, but because I already have this inner mental model I have of all of this, and it might be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, but so I'm telling you a bit how I understand all of this, so you can tell me if it's wrong. That's why I'm here. And so that's like, so I understand that she is them, and of course all the other things, but not on that scale.
Untold trillions had their souls ripped from their bodies and their actual fleshy bodies devoured by Slaanesh demons. The entirety of the Eldar race was eaten alive and their souls consumed.
Were they, though? Were they eaten alive by her demons, or did they become the demons and it is metaphorical that they got eaten by the demons? That sounds a lot more plausible to me, and I don't know if that's like, but that's how I understand it.
To the Prince of Pleasure. All of them got fucked up. It was so bad that it literally ripped a warp hole into the fabric of the materium called the Eye of Terror. That's literally this like quasi-horrifying gateway portal from the Materium and the Immaterium right next to Cadia.
What is
And
with
it
this
is
Cadia
horrifying.
stuff?
So this Slaanesh, also known as She Who Thirsts by the Eldar.
Horny main. What? Okay. Don't know what that means. So is that Eye of Terror? Is that just the connection? Like, was that where basically the Eldar were and their souls like ruptured the the warp was like, if there are two layers and the warp was like exciting and sometimes it crashed down, like it hit into the material world. You know, I'm sorry that I use all these weird analogies, but I try to understand it. So and then it hit into it, like the energy was so big that it like ripped it got entangled with it or whatever, and it ripped a hole into space, and now like it's bleeding into Slaanesh basically. So the Eye of Terror is Slaanesh's mouth, and yeah, that is the way it is.
Slaughtered the entire population except for a couple. Those in the craft worlds were actually not affected by this, as they were so far in the reaches of the galaxy.
Yeah,
that crazy crack, that birth of Slaanesh, only affected the ones in the center. So these craft world Eldar were able to escape, but Slaanesh got their sights on them. Every time an Eldar will die, their soul doesn't just pass into the warp naturally. It goes straight to Slaanesh, craft world or not.
Yeah.
What about those people in the webway? Well, imagine that giant birth happening, but they were only able to just barely get a grasp onto you. Slaanesh was just barely able to hold on. These people are the Dark Eldar, or also known as the Drukhari. The Eldar population right now is so massively small. It is minuscule compared to any of the other most of.
No, I think the tower less things. People, fishmen, horse things. I don't even remember what species they were from. Somebody told me, I forgot. Yeah, so unbelievable. So I still think that the webway seems to be like a fourth dimension, or like a hyperspace dimension that's like a Materium dimension. And that might be, because it's a higher dimension, it might be closer to the warp as well and differently connected. So, but that's just what I think from a physics perspective there.
The other populations in the universe. The Eldar are consistently having issues trying to get their population up, because as their souls are constantly being hungered by from Slaanesh, they realize their entire species is doomed.
Yeah, and how do they create new souls? I still don't know that. Perhaps I knew that once, but I don't know. How are they creating new souls? Because they were created by these... Well, they weren't created by the Satan. They were created by the great ancients. The great old ones, I think, something like that. And they were created by them against the Satan, I think. So they were created in a certain number, I guess. Or like how do they come into being?
And they understand it very well. Since the time of the fall, our race has been haunted by what we, in our reckless pursuit of hedonistic indulgence, gave birth to. Though our dreams once overturned worlds and quenched suns, we are now but fitful shadows clinging to the edge of existence. All the stars in the sky cannot blot out the hateful glare of the red moon's eye. The birthing place of the great enemy pulses with all the malice of a demon that is dreaming, casting its shadow over all we have ever done and all we ever shall. Every twisted strand of fate and casting of the runes leads me to this time, to this place, and it is clear that the final battle awaits me at the ancient Crone worlds, a conflict the likes of which has not been seen since the Monkai warred amongst themselves and their corpse of a seer fell to his traitorous son. Is coming, and all my steps lead towards it, no matter that I walk other paths. I see the stars stained red with the blood of the Monkai, and though their wars do not concern me, I would gladly let them destroy one another. I know that to avoid this fight is to condemn my race to inevitable doom, and though all I see is darkness, I know that I will not flinch from my destiny.
Yeah, that's horrifying. Love them. Like their horror. I love their horror. I love all the kinds of horror in this universe because I just like, I love horror so much. And good stories. And this is both, which is like best case.
Talk about cute plastic models.
For me.
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
The first playable race we have for the Eldar are the Craft World Eldar and living in those Craft World starships I mentioned earlier. And each of them have their own kind of Craft World, almost like a Space Marine Legion. Each Craft World is in itself its own special kind of group. And the Eldar themselves are very fast and rely a lot on trickery. They are squishy, a bit weak, but they're very in tune as psychers. Tons of psychers across the entire Eldar population, and their weaponry and abilities are fast and extremely hard-hitting, but of course rather fragile. Understanding an Eldar's brain is an exercise in futility. They are all over the place in confusion and trickery on a whole galactic scale. They fight weird, they think weirder, and Eldar in their own right really rely on this to keep their species alive. They need to think about deception and the strangeness of what they do if they truly want to not be immediately murdered and slaughtered wholesale thanks to their entirely small population.
Yeah, that's like a very good point he makes. If you're so few, like how do you fight? I would have expected them to fight like the assassins from the Imperium. They just go in stealthily, and it's basically that. This is the Speedy Gonzalez Eldar. That's the way they do it. And yeah, I wonder how that works on tabletop. Like, can they move quicker, faster, whatever? I assume you move. So.
However, I must say that it seems like their population is getting slightly better. These craft worlds hold millions upon millions of people. And as they continually, reproduce and have their craft worlds expand, losing a few people in battle, while hurts a lot, they are only losing what's extremely precious to them. It's not like every single death means the death of their species. It seems like they're kind of on the upturn a little bit. They're still a doomed race being sucked into Slaanesh every time someone dies, but they are definitely doing a little bit better than they were before. Eldar are fast, cunning, and what they don't make up for in tankiness, they make up for in extremely advanced weaponry. They also call humans Monkai, which is something I mentioned earlier. That is a derogatory slur.
Yeah, it's monkey, of course.
For humans in the Warhammer world. Why is it called Monkai? Well, it's because you can't, in your game, call people monkeys. On the tabletop...
What? Is serious? Are you serious? Is that the reason? I like it, though. I like it. It's because of the words change, so in 40,000 years, the monkey is probably the monkey. I don't know. They look pretty colorful. Though they look a bit too clean, the tanks, I think.
Exactly what I said. Not very tanky, generally pretty squishy.
But I love
the Megazords and move at Mach 5. Fast, hit hard, die fast. Exactly how it sounds. They've been good for a very long time, too. We bring only death and leave only carry-on. It is a message even a human can understand.
Yes, probably.
Eldar. So, Drukhari. Let's talk about the Dark Eldar.
Oh, great. Oh, great. Here we go again with the disgusting shit. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready.
How fucked up is fucked up. That's fucked up.
So those people I mentioned in the Webway, in the super deranged cults and the depraved people of the Eldar, in the Webway, they didn't quite get a hold onto them. Slaanesh has them, but it has them on by the pinky finger. And they're slowly being consumed by Slaanesh, but they found out they can stave her off by doing Slaanesh things.
Yes, so they are like her ultimate cult, even though they wouldn't call themselves that. But that's like they are the ultimate priests for Slaanesh that don't want to be her priests. Too bad, mates.
The Dark Eldar are by far the worst, most horrifying, disgusting, depraved, and brutal race in all of Warhammer 40k. These are entirely a group of people whose full purpose to save their species from extinction, to go into planets, raid them, and take as many slaves as they possibly can to torture them for 1, 5, 10, 20, a million years.
Yeah, so they are the closest thing to evil. Like, I think good and evil is... No, it's not even a spectrum. I think there are things that have many good like situations and uses or whatever you would say, and things that have many bad, like an overwhelmingly bad amount of stuff. Like a weapon can be used as a hammer to nail, like put a nail in, even though it would be stupid and wasteful, and it could be used to like shoot you in the head. So, and it is more like a very, very destructive, just a destructive, like per definition, a destructive thing that you can do against something. So that's pretty bad. Although you can save people with weapons as well. So you see there is good there. So like you see, but the bad part is like also there a lot. And with an apple, it wouldn't be. Like an apple can only feed you and nurture you and make you go like on another walk or whatever, or hike, or I just don't know. But like you can still throw it at someone's head, will do bad stuff, like destructive, if you just like say it like that. And what I want to say is the Drukhari there have almost all they do has this thing where I would probably say it's destructive and bad for the sake of, or it's destructive mentally or physically for the sake of being destructive. All of it except for that they want to survive. So there's this one aspect they want to survive, which is something, yeah, perhaps you don't need to survive, but I understand that. You know, that's the point I understand. They want to survive, and all the other stuff I'm like, Jesus Christ, why? But there's one thing even about them where I say, okay, I understand you why. And like that's why I would put them the evilest as far as I know.
Because that torture...
I might do a tier list for that. I don't know. Perhaps if I know more, I will do an evil tier list.
Will keep them from dying. They look very BDSM style too. They definitely have a lot more spiky bits, and they have a lot more of that kind of leathery black look to them.
Of course.
But let's say you are an upstanding Imperial citizen, living life on a regular planet.
Yeah.
You get invaded by the Necrons. The Necrons will shoot you with a deatomizer, and you will be destroyed in a millisecond, and that's it.
Yeah, fine.
Not the worst way to go. You are invaded by Chaos Marines or something. You take a bolter shot to the head or a chain sword across your stomach, and you get cut in half.
Still bad,
painful,
but yeah.
Not the worst. The Orks arrive. They beat you to death. Hurts, but, you know, whatever.
They go
Tyranids,
clubbing.
they eat you alive. It's pretty rough. The Dark Eldar. This is going to get a little graphic. I apologize. You pray you die.
Yeah, let's go. So I know about the furniture, but I don't know, like there's probably horrible stuff now. So this is going to be bad. So if you have a light stomach, whatever you say, better skip this, but...
You don't. You are instead taken as a human slave. Your life will be endless work and agony, 24/7.
Yay.
They will make sure you can't not die, as your pain satisfies them. They will hook you up to all manner of torture devices. They will inject pain-based like stimuli drugs directly into your nervous system.
Great.
They will slowly run razor blades across your skin. They will fillet you and pull out your teeth and your fingernails one by one. They will remove your appendages and your skin and wait for it to grow back so they can do it again. They will murder and torture and use the R word, it rhymes with grape, your entire family in front of you and do the exact same thing to them. You yourself will also be rhymes with grape anywhere and everywhere possible. And this will occur for 20 years until you are no longer satisfying to them.
That only like, wow, 20 years, that 20 years, satisfied 20 years with that? I think the human mind with that breaks like a month, like perhaps 2 years. It's just horrifying. It's like, it's horrifying. And one of the most brutal things I know about is what they do is like they shape you into living furniture. Very painful.
And then you will be contorted, crushed, and twisted into some form of trophy, a fleshy trophy, or a ring, or a couch, or a TV stand,
Yay.
or perhaps a wonderful hat, while you are, of course, still alive and breathing. And you will become a moaning, fleshy trophy for eternity.
I have no mouth, but I must scream. Still have to read it. I think it's not that long. I have to read it. It's horrifying. I have heard.
And that is what happens when you are taken by the Dark Eldar. They are the most depraved, most horrifying race in all of 40k. They look the part, and they do it so they all don't die. They are literally forced to do this. Because if they don't, Slaanesh's grip will get harder, and they will have their souls pulled away. So long as they keep doing this, Slaanesh is like, you're doing good, man. You're doing solid. You keep that shit up, you elf-eared bastards.
I still think Slaanesh is just hard trolling them, because she gets, like, the pleasure they create is making her more powerful, or him. And why like, and she's like, yeah, you do that, like, spread me. That's the best way to spread me. You will die if you don't do this, and you don't want to die as a race, so spread me. I got that sounded wrong, did it? I don't even know. Perhaps that sounded wrong. Whatever. Let's go.
That's the Dark Eldar. That's the Drukhari. They are horrible. On the
Yes,
tabletop, they're actually kind of like Eldar, but more extreme. They are even squishier than the Eldar, but they hit generally even harder.
Yeah.
Fast attacks, skirmishers, really quick, speedy, like get around them, do a lot of damage, get away kind of stuff. That's most of the Dark Eldar.
Run.
Look up the definition of Grim Dark in a dictionary. You'll find a picture of the Dark Eldar. And Sev from Republic Commando. A quote from Mr. Vecht. We are the lords of despair, masters of terror. Dread and agony are our meat and wine, and they are plentiful indeed.
They are plentiful indeed.
Dark Eldar. Let's talk about the Harlequins. Clowns.
What's the matter, Andy? Don't you want to have some fun?
The Harlequins are a bizarre race of Eldar. They're demonic clown performers. They're like a weird mix of Sander Cohen from BioShock and Jin from League of Legends, but in a more clown theme. They're artists of death and perfecters of their craft. They do not belong to Craft Worlds or any of the weird Drukhari people. They guard something called the Black Library, which is this giant tome of never-ending knowledge deep in the heart of the Eldar webway, and also guarded by their god named Kegorok, I believe is how you pronounce his name.
Kegorach. At least that's the German way. Yeah, so they've got a clown god. Where did the clown god come from?
He is the laughing god, but
it's from the fear of clowns.
And these are the Harlequins, the Harlequin clowns. These are Eldar clowns, okay? So imagine the things that an Eldar, these depraved individuals, would find funny. And this is the god of that. It's a horror clown. These are gods of horror.
Looks horrifying.
For us normal people. For them, they're like, oh, it's so funny. They're all dying horribly. Honk, honk.
I mean, there are movies that make fun of that, so I don't think they're that far off.
Very bizarre and difficult to describe. They've escaped the ruinous powers of Slaanesh somehow.
With, I don't know, do you have that expression in English? I will try to translate it. Gallows humor. It's like laughing in the face of death and destruction and pain and peril, like going mad and be like, no, I'm gonna get hanged. Great day, like what a beautiful day. Like that's the thing apparently for some. So they might be that part of their consciousness that was. So it might be an offspring of Slaanesh, but a part that's not like her normal or his normal thing.
But their main thing is guarding that Black Library, and the Harlequins they're demon clown performers. They're barely any models on the tabletop. They're good in melee. They're demon clowns. I'm not sure. I got a quote. It is too easy for an Eldar to embrace the obscene virtues of chaos, for Slaanesh is nothing more than a manifestation of the Eldar mind in its most wild and unconstrained form. Human morality is meaningless to the Eldar, and to the dark side of the Eldar mind, all life is to be expended at a whim. Cruelty and generosity are but the impulse of a moment. Beauty and sensuality are virtues that can be expressed in bloodshed just as easily as in song. To an unfettered Eldar mind, there is neither sanity nor madness, but merely a wave of perfect existence fulfilled by its own savage momentum. They're very strange.
Yeah, that sounds strange. I would have to think more about them. But we might deep dive into them if you vote for them down the line.
The Harlequins, Drukhari, Eldar, they are an anomaly that make humans seem completely easy to understand in comparison. They range from rekindling their civilization to horrifying murder and also clowns.
And also clowns. Don't forget the clowns. Oh, I love it. I don't think them not easy to understand. I really find them perfectly easy to understand. But I probably didn't get them. But yeah, I like their ideas so much. Like the ideas that are worked into these factions and their lore. Like I love the lore so much. This is such a cool universe. Like it started when I watched this pseudo history of humanity after this century. And it was so well thought out and so realistic. I love this, and this is like so brilliant. All these cool aspects of this, I love it.
They're all over the place, but honestly, they represent quite well and are rather interesting, especially with the whole Slaanesh murdering everyone bit. So, yeah, Eldar. Now, bugs.
There they are, the Tyranids again. Ooh, Tyranids gonna come eat your planet. Gonna leave behind the wasteland. Tyranids, like, are they? We never, or I never heard it, and I think some told me it's not clear. But there's like, where are they coming from? Is there a presence behind them? Are they just a swarm that eats and evolves and wants to just consume and move on? Like this very, yeah, I don't know. It's like a mixture of Slaanesh and Nurgle, actually. I don't know.
Mom, they following me, Mom. They following me.
Who following you?
The bugs.
The bugs.
The Tyranids. Now, you want to talk something a lot more fun?
Is that an octopus Tyranid thing? Yeah, it looks cool.
A little more simple than all this crazy Eldar shenanigans. Let's talk the Tyranids. They're bugs. Do they look like Zerg? Hell yeah, they look like Zerg. You want to know why they look like Zerg? Because they were actually supposed to be what Zerg were.
Oh no.
Apparently StarCraft was supposed to be a 40k game in the beginning. Hence.
Yeah, you really. That's why in the first video where I reacted to our starters, I like confused Space Marines with the what are they called in StarCraft? But they're also called Space Marines. See, I start again. I don't know what they're called, and I know the Zerg are very similar to Tyranids. So yeah, don't know what happened there, but yeah.
That's why they look so much like Eldar, Zerg, and the Imperium of Man. Like, kind of Space Marine-y, those Marines, huh? They look a little bit Space Marine-y to me. Maybe. I don't know. You really fucked up on that one, Games Workshop, didn't ya?
Yeah, that was so stupid. Like nowadays I would understand it because there are many games that are very bad. Like very badly written, or sometimes even very buggy and badly programmed if it's worst comes to the worst. But yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Tyranids are a giant infestation of unfathomable proportions. These are giant, extremely bio-advanced hive mind organisms that are basically all about absorbing as much biomass as they possibly can to evolve and mutate to be extremely potent and powerful and kill and eat anything in their path. They are probably the least evil faction in all of 40k because all they want to do is eat shit.
Yeah, I would almost agree. Yeah, I would agree. Tower more, even better. If they are not mind controlled or whatever that was. I hope they're not, because it would take so much nuance away from them, as far as I know. But yeah, so the Tyranids, like they just want to, they eat. Like would you, like I said in the Tyranid video, would you fault a fox for killing a hare and eating it and digesting it? Like it's the same thing. You just turn up to 11. It's just nature devouring and evolving and just existing. It's just pure nature. It's like the evil of nature. They're like the evil of nature. All the other stuff is evil of man and mind, and this is the evil of nature. Like, and I think I said that before. Like every single idea of evil here is like things that we find evil in the world. Like they are like I said, evil of nature. I mean, I don't have to talk about the chaos stuff, of course. That's the, you know. Then we've got the evil of propaganda and leadership, and like this messiahship with the humans. Dark Eldar. I'm sorry, the Eldar is this. Yeah, I don't know, this evil of superiority, like being superior as far as I know. Perhaps I'm wrong on that one. I'm not really sure. The Necrons, this evil of technology, machinery, and the tower, like the evil of like a bit communist evil, a bit like that. Or like, yeah, like this evil of this hive mind thing, but not in the Tyranid way, in the human social way. So and they're like the embodiments of these evils that fight. No one can win because they all exist all the time, because they're humans, like, but or conscious beings. And yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. I'll also subscribe.
They want to nom nom the entire galaxy. They hangry and we food. Also, this Tyranid hive mind has a presence in the.
There it is. The thing again, I don't know what it is. That's the first that's the first specialized, or whatever you call that, Tyranid I've ever seen in my life. It's the thing that like fires balls of energy, Zoanthroph or something like that. Love that design. Looks so much like a Geiger thing that I just would like to hug it. And it would kill me, I know. But just whatever.
The warp. In fact, Tyranids in their own right have a massive presence in the warp. They have a thing called the shadow in the warp specifically, where when they are coming in to invade a planet, they have this weird ability to kind of cut off the warp on all the cyclers on that planet. And how do you get help across the stars? Well, you need the warp, because you need that for interstellar travel. So with people unable to call for help from the Tyranids, these are just easy pickings.
Yeah,
and an entire giant Tyranid hive fleet comes out of orbit and just will massacre, absorbing all that biomass and turning them and all of their other Tyranids into even more advanced monsters.
Also, they I think they absorb the minds as well, like the information in the minds somehow, and make them part of their army. I love that aspect as well.
They come in so many varieties too, all based on what is important. Tiny little ripper swarms for scouting and having little dudes eat people up, to the Hormigons, Termagants, and Gene Stealers, all the way to the Hive Guard and the Exocrines and the Swarm
That
Orcs,
looks so
Hive
sick.
Tyrants and their giant battle fleets, and even something as crazy as the Hierophant Bio-Titan.
Oh, those are the things that go against Titan. Someone told me. Love them. They are so cool designed.
Tyranids come in all forms and sizes depending on what they require. They are extremely good at anti-biological weaponry. There is no way you can plague them or blight them. They have extremely strong armor, carapaces and such. Tyranids are nice, perfect organisms and are pretty spooky when it comes down to how they handle all of their genetic material.
And by the way, yes, it makes sense that they do have swords. I've thought about it again, and people told me, yeah, they have got bone swords. And I was like, why? And I then remembered they eat people and like get the information from their brains and integrate that into their technology, I guess. So that's why they can create bone swords. It's so cool.
Keep feeding them, they'll keep evolving. They keep on creating new horrifying organisms to spread across the galaxy.
I'm so sorry, just this picture's like, excuse me, sir, do you have a moment for your savior? And he's like, no! I know it's a stupid joke, I'm so sorry.
And you want to know what the most terrifying part of the Tyranids is? We might be surrounded There have been like around 6 or 7 Tyranid hive fleets. Behemoth, Kronos, all these different kinds of hive fleets.
And their names are after these mythical creatures of chaos and nature. I love that.
And they've all arrived
Kraken.
in the galaxy from different
Gorgon.
points. Different sections of the Milky Way galaxy have had different Tyranids come through. And that is horrifying. Because as far as we know, we could just be surrounded on all sides by Tyranids. The only reason
We are not. Or not in the way that it will matter, because that would destroy the narrative, of course. So that's that's why I don't like find this idea so spooky, and this is a horrifying idea that normally would be so terrible. Like if that was really the case, if there was this alien race around us that was everything around us, and it was like this hostile and horrid, and like if there were just us and Tyranids, that would be so scary. But because I know like this is a story verse where they can't win, not because they like the plot doesn't demand it, like it doesn't allow it even. Doesn't allow this to happen. That's why in this universe I don't find them that scary, but I find their idea very scary. And it might even be a solution to the it might be a solution to the Fermi paradox. So the question why we haven't found life yet, which I've done a video about, I think 3 years ago when I was still reacting to science videos. So yeah.
The reason you may not hear a whole lot about Tyranids is because it's a little bit hard to have a bunch of story off of one hive mind genocidal monsters. All these giant bugs swarming in, killing and eating everybody and evolving. Oh, I mean, as cool as there are, there's some cool characters, the Swarm Lord, Old One-Eye. You can't really have a whole bunch of major character-based stories around them. As awesome as they are, they're simple. They want to eat you. They want to eat you and absorb your biomass. They are simple bugs.
That's what I thought as well. Like you can't have very good stories. You could have stories like they're like going onto a planet and the planet has one of these, I forgot the thing, the human supercomputers from the Golden Age that they have like would sell planets for. Like that they might be like it might be discovered, but through discovery the Tyranids are aware of the planet and they come, and not because of that, but because they know there's a planet and they try to eat everything and you have to fend them off to download it or to transport it away or whatever. And then they are cut off because of the shadow on the warp and the Tyranids come and they have to defend it and somehow get it away. I don't know. And perhaps even like reactivate a crashed Eldar ship and whatever. I want a movie about all of this, by the way. That's how I got into this. Henry Cavill, my dude. Such a cool guy. Like, as far as I know. And he supposedly goes into Warhammer 40k and does a movie universe. That's why I got into it, basically. Like I thought, okay, let's look it up, and I just did this reaction. So, but yeah, so I know there's going to be movies, and I want a movie like that. I want so many movies, but there's so many good ideas in this universe. I love it to death. Oh God, how could I miss this? Like I missed this for so many years because I read up on it when I was young. When I was 14, I like looked at the Tyranid stuff, just that I think, and yeah. I never really did more. I don't know why, but there's so many cool stories.
If you want something a little more complex, talk gene stealer cults.
I can have all the pot I want, I get around faster than walking, and wherever I need a seat, I can just sit on my balls.
Gene stealer cults are a special brand of Tyranid that can slowly infect themselves into different kinds of society. And by infecting them, they can rise up to where they all pray and believe in these regular humans, pray and believe into their Tyranid hive mind gods. And these brood lords and I think they're called patriarchs all can turn an entire world all based into gene stealers.
Yeah.
And these are called gene stealer cults. An entire hive world of the Imperium can be turned into nothing but servants of the Tyranid masters just by infecting them and screwing with their genetic code a little bit.
Yeah, they look really cool. I mean, they're zombies. Let's not kid ourselves. They're just zombies, like not functionally, but the way they look. But like, I still like good design, well-designed zombies. I like that.
They also have this cool like Mad Max look, which is really neat. They are definitely one of the bigger threats to the Imperium besides Chaos. I keep saying biggest threat to the Imperium. They're up there though, because you, dingus, stepped on a bug in middle school. asshole. There is a cancer eating at the Imperium. With each decade, it advances deeper, leaving drained, dead worlds in its wake. This horror, this abomination, has thought and purpose that functions on an unimaginable galactic scale, and all we can do is to try to stop the swarms of bioengineer monsters it unleashes upon us by instinct. We have given the horror a name to salvage our fears. We call it the Tyranid race. But if it is aware of us, it must know us as nothing but prey.
Yeah, that's like... But it would be also fun if they found ways to detect their ships, because I think they fall through wormholes, I guess, like Einstein-Rosen bridges. Yeah, I butchered that name because I didn't know if I should pronounce it in the English or German way, but anyway, so they could try to cut them off there, and they could, as I said, they could just throw black holes at them, like, try that, like, throw black holes at their fleets. I perhaps. Then again, if they can manipulate gravity, they could probably just deal with that as well. But we'll see.
Tyranids, they're cool. But are they as cool as the Orks?
The Orks.
Screen's gone red. That means I'm super fast.
Orks, 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 orks.
Yeah, so I will still do a deeper dive video on the Orks, because the one from Major Kill was a bit, I didn't get that much info. So I will do a video down the line on that, I promise. But yeah, I love their concept. Let's see how he explains it, and if I got it right, or perhaps he will probably give me some more information here, I feel. Because the last video I watched was not that informative.
Orks. I fucking love orks. So, yes, the green monsters, the green tide, the green skins. These orks, they are in fact a race in 40k. The orks are as exactly what you expect them. They have archaic weapons, they're big boys, they have axes, and they have got big old teeth, and they want to kill everything, and there are so many of them.
And they have fun with it. Like, it's sport.
The only reason they haven't taken over the entire galaxy is they can't stop murdering each other. Orks are so cool. Orks don't have philosophy. Orks don't have existential crisis. What matters is who's the biggest ork. You listen to that guy, because he's the biggest ork.
Yeah. Yeah, and I promise I won't shout "warg" into the microphone. I wanted to just now, but I stopped myself so you can sleep easy.
Big ork knows best. You win through the power of imagination. Of all the races I have battled throughout the galaxy, the ork is the hardest to comprehend. They wage war with machines that should not work, care little for strategic gains, and are just as likely to slaughter each other as the enemy. How does one battle an enemy that defies all logic?
Yes.
As an ork, you're enjoying life. You're enjoying the life you're given. Your whole life and job and purpose is to get up and beat each other to death because you can.
Because you can. It's so funny. Yeah, the orks are a pretty funny idea. It's probably like there should be a comedy splasher movie about that. See, I did it again. I won the movie again. Just do movies about this.
The biggest ork is the man who understands everything. He is the boss. And orks have this really weird, big, dumb, stereotype British accent, which is just hilarious to me.
Because they're hooligans.
Those are orks. You fight. You like to fight. Your whole purpose is to fight. You wage war because you want to wage war. You got your boss over there, and you better listen to the boss, because if you don't listen to the boss will squish you and make you
the boss will squish you.
For the other orks.
So
and then you can't fight because ork dead. And ork dead can't fight because ork dead. Orks.
Yeah.
They scrap together machines out of parts that don't make any sense, and because they believe, they have the mental imagination that machine will run, it'll run. If that machine's out of gas, you're driving that machine with your fellow orks, and the biggest ork is behind the wheel, and you run out of gas, some ork behind you is like, oh, Zog, we're out of gas. And the big ork is like, no, we're not.
No, we're not. We will now go. And the orks win.
I filled the fucking gas tank up earlier, and all the other orcs are like, oh yeah, you did do that. And then you turn the fucking mech back on, and it works again. Does it have gas?
So funny.
Probably not, but it
I need a comedy movie about that.
works. The power of imagination. They paint things red because it makes them think they goes faster. They paint things purple because it's the sneakiest color. You want to know why? You ever seen a purple orc? Didn't fucking think so. Orcs
I have. There's probably been games where those were skin options.
are also like ancient as hell. They're back in the Eldari time frame. But back then they were called Orks, and they were much larger and scarier and far more intelligent. Now they're just orcs, and they're big, dumb, and they smack things. But they're pretty spooky. They're not very well armored, but they hit really hard. And it's called the Green Tide because there are so many orcs.
And I know they're fungi, which is cool. Like, similar to the Tyranids, but not the same. It's a different kind of thing. Like, it's an invasive plant.
There are about as many orcs as
Probably not. I don't even know what. Like, I think it's its own piece of life. A fungus, but I'm not a biologist. Don't expect that from me.
there are Tyranids. Maybe more. Who knows? But they keep on, murdering each other, so it's not too bad of an issue. Orcs are entirely comic relief. Their stuff is slapped together. That makes no sense. Their vehicles don't work the way they're supposed to, but they work because they think it works, because they imagine that it works.
Yeah, so they are probably connected to the warp as well, but to a part that's not as... Perhaps it's an even more primal part than the Chaos Gods, because it's like this very infant-like thing, like it's the first emerging consciousness, perhaps. The first fragments of consciousness, that's what they are, I guess, or connected to, or you know what I mean.
Orcs care only about who is the biggest orc, and they will follow the biggest orc. And then if they want to be the biggest orc, they'll challenge the biggest orc. And then when they go and they issue a wa is just war in orc.
Thank you, mate. I love you. Thank you. The other dude just screamed it in my ear, and I didn't even know what it was. I thought it was warp, because he talked about warp travel at that point, and he just started shouting walk. See? That's why I love this dude. He explained it, and now he can do jokes. He can now shout it in my ear. It's now loud. I will find it funny now. Because he explained to me what the joke was before, like he set it up.
They murder everybody and everything in this giant tide of green orcs who are just excited to be hitting something. They don't care that they're hitting Eldar or the Imperium or Tau or anyone in between. They're just so they get to beat shit up. That's
What is that thing in the background? Is that Tyranid? Is that Chaos? Is that an Orc's pet that they think exists and that's why it exists?
orcs. And on the tabletop, they are a total coin flip, and they're really fun. I have never met a salty orc player. I have never met someone who plays orcs and is ever just a bad guy or...
That's probably so funny. Oh, I still don't know how the game works, but it would be so funny if you just rolled all the time.
that guy. Orc players have this kind of fun to them because when you play them, you are completely submitting yourself to RNG. So here's the thing. Guardsmen, Imperial Guardsmen, when they shoot, they roll a dice, and on a 4 up, they'll hit their target. They have a
Oh, interesting. Okay, I see. So you've got different dice, and you've got different ranges that you set, and then you have probably every unit has dice, and okay, I see.
50% chance.
So it's all like spinning a wheel that's like has a certain percentage like covered, and if you get that, you win, and depending on the dice and the rules for each unit, you have got other wheels you spin, but basically you just spin wheels.
Space Marines,
like in combat.
pretty good. They hit on a...
Which I really like, because like battles, yes, they're tactical. Some are more tactical than others, but in the end, there's a bunch of luck in every battle, I guess. So I like that aspect. Like, or the... Not even luck, it's the thing you can't predict. You just have to see what happens, because I don't know, things might happen that you didn't predict. And I love that they incorporate that in the battle, apparently.
3
Very
or
good
higher
idea.
because they're well trained. Adeptus Custodians, they hit on 2s because they're just super well trained.
Wow.
Orcs, They hit on a 5 or higher.
Oh no. Oh no.
But if they roll a 6, they get to make another shot with anything, from the dinkiest pistol to the biggest rocket launcher.
Okay. That is actually pretty funny. Would I be an orc player? I don't know. I might be an orc player. I don't know though. There are other things I really love. I love every faction so much. There's so much cool stuff here. There's so much cool stuff here.
It doesn't matter. Half of their stuff will blow up on a whim. One of their medics, if you roll a 1 to heal someone, you fuck up your surgery and you just kill an orc.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
they're so wacky and silly. But the thing is if you roll well, you roll high, and you keep rolling high, you are going to crush people. And if you don't, you lose. I mean, that's what you get when you play orcs. That's what happens when you play orc. It's a coin flip, which is why you can't be a salty bitch when you play orcs, because...
No, it's not a coin flip. It's what's it called? Wheel of Fortune? Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. It's a Wheel of Fortune.
Because things...
I know, it's very nitpicky of me. I'm sorry. But it's a Wheel of Fortune, not a coin flip.
Won't go your way. It's just the roll of the dice. You're playing a dice game. But if you're going to have fun, and you want to be stupid, and you want to be silly, you're going to play some damn orcs. But on the opposite side of the fun part of this, let's talk about the Necrons.
The poor Necrons. That's a cool soundtrack.
The Necrons are spooky, scary skeletons and very grimdark again. They have a much more fleshed out lore than before. Back in the day, they were just undead Egyptian space terminators.
I mean, that's what they look like, but they're not. I know. I know they're... I know. You told me they're not nanites. You told me they were liquid metal, which for me is the same thing. It's the same thing.
And they still look that way, but then they actually have a story.
It's quantum computers embedded or created through special, like they perhaps have specialized nanites for different things, and some might build quantum computers that connect to the Necron consciousnesses that are left behind, and yeah, whatever.
So way back in the day, you had the Necron tier. Kind of see a theme here: Eldari, Eldar, Krork, Ork, Necron, Necron tier. So the Necron tier were this race of generally kind of shitty people.
I thought they were like very, very effed by their world because it was radiated AF. And they had horrid lives, painful lives, did their best to create a civilization. Not heard anything horrible from them except for their one ding-dong king, the silent king, I remember that. And he bargained with the Satan and effed his race and tried to atone for it till today. So yeah.
Not because they were personally shitty, but because their lives were awful. They were ill-fated to a horrible existence of like radiation and a terrible planet they lived on, and everything just really sucked. Being a Necron tier was just really depressing. They really were looking for immortality. They were extremely reliant on the hope that they would eventually find the key to living forever and to stave off this horrible nature that they were thrust upon them, and therefore they could become the most dominant race in the galaxy.
I just realized the one thing every faction has in common, and that's obvious. You will say, oh, that's so obvious, and why do you mention this? But I don't know why I find this interesting. The thing they all have in common is they want to survive. Their modes look like there are several situations, and they are placed in them, and they want to survive them. That's the core. Everyone wants to survive. It's like the basic thing of being: survival. Try to survive. And all the things that come with it. That's Warhammer, survival of the fittest. Perhaps not even of the fittest, but all the ideas that are associated with the survival of the fittest, perhaps. And you take this animalistic or natural aspect here, like survive because evolution, survive because of belief, because of community, because of whatever the hell, having fun, survive because you want pleasure, like these that's so cool. Never realized it, but I digressed again, didn't I? No, jeez. Yeah, I'm already at 1.5 hours. I hope you enjoyed still. If you're still here, thank you for being here. Click a like. Support this. I mean, if you're still here and you hear me say this, just like it. It helps a bit. And you seem to have enjoyed it at least a bit. And anyway, let's go into this horrible thing that happened to them.
And they found this group. They're called the Old Ones. Imagine them kind of like
the
Forerunners in Halo or the Xel'Naga in StarCraft, right? These Old Ones were these strong, pretty much omnipotent beings. And they, of course, knew the key to immortality. So the Necrons went to them and said, please, show us your ways. And the Old Ones said,
do you know the way?
Piss off.
Sorry.
Not really. They were a lot more humble about it, but they did not want to share their secret of immortality with the Necrons.
I want to understand, and I want that as a book or movie as well, because when I first heard about this, I want this. It's such an interesting story, because I can see both their perspectives, and they could be very well established, and they could just play them against each other and end an absolute tragedy.
The Necrons, of course, took this very well.
Yes, they
waged war with them.
Yeah.
Kind of under this united banner. The Necron different dynasties didn't really like each other, but under this one man, the Silent King, he thought the best way to unite his race was to do this giant war with the Old Ones out of spite for them keeping the secret of immortality to them.
No, they probably... Was that the way? Like, I'm saying no, I'm sorry, I don't know. But I assumed it was they waged war to rip it from them. Like, and perhaps like kill them and see how they revive and analyze that and stuff like that. And that's what I thought, but perhaps they were just salty.
This was known as
but
the
that would
War
be, I guess,
in Heaven. And this is actually like a multi-stage war. Because during this war in heaven, they discovered the Star Gods, a whole new race of people known as the C'tan.
But I thought C'tan were like plasma fluid things. Were they had they bodies? Bodies? I know they had bodies, but I thought they had not human bodies, but weird glibbery ones.
The C'tan. These star gods were also very much like Old Ones, almost omnipotent beings, and they too had the key to immortality. And so the Necrons went to them and said, hey, can you help us fight off the Old Ones? Can you help us kill these Old Ones, you, the C'tan? And the C'tan said yes. And in fact, we can help provide you with the immortality you so desperately seek.
Yeah, deal with the devil, but wasn't it that the C'tan were already fighting the Old Ones? I think. And as far as I remember, it's more like this theme of like the Old Ones were more psychic and they were more materialistic. Like this primal crash of like in the beginning, mind crashed on matter, so to speak, and then everything emerged from that. You know, perhaps that. I don't remember, like the like Newton's videos, it was like the Necrons like were just pawns, and the C'tan were already at war or very hostile to the Old Ones, and that like they used them as pawns to attack them and seriously wound them.
So the Silent King of the Necrons decided to make a pact with the C'tan to allow them to accept this generous gift of immortality upon them. But this, of course, had been a horrendous trap.
Of course.
And the Necrons were dragged in chains to this biotransference where their flesh was stripped from them, replaced with nothing but a metal hollow shell, as their souls were ripped from their body and fed to the C'tan. And the C'tan fattened up. They got chonk on the souls of the Necrons.
Really? This is completely different from the last one, I think. So, and you have to help me there in the comments again, because I want to get this right. I know there are perhaps some different canonics, like I know the stuff with, yes, we don't know what's right, but I want to get it straight that I've got several things that people commonly say are interpretations that people like generally go with in the community. So that's why I also do these videos. Like, don't want to talk to someone there like, that's just been said by Dingus the Fifth. no one cares anymore. That I would be like, oh no, I thought everything I thought was a lie. So yeah, that's so I understood that their minds weren't ripped from their bodies. They were like imprisoned in these living liquid creatures that look like skeletons because of unknown reasons. Perhaps because they look like their former bodies, like as a last cry about their former lives, or because they were the Satan wanted to mock them, and not that important now. But yeah, and I thought they were then used, like, and their minds were still in there, which is a very key point, I feel. So were the minds, are the Necron minds still in there, trapped, unable to control their bodies, and are we just used as, it's basically the Matrix idea, we talked about this before, like the original Matrix idea, using brains for circuitry. That's what the machines wanted the humans for in the original draft, as far as I know. Something like that, like the brains are just there for computers perhaps, or perhaps even just the structure, and their souls were bound to these new metal brains, and they're just trapped, and energy sources for these robot bodies that are mockingly shaped after their original bodies perhaps. But yeah, so this is sounds but tell me what generators thought about this perhaps.
As this was their plan all along, they consumed the flesh and souls of the Necron tier and turned them all into unwilling robotic slaves just to serve their will.
Yeah, that would not make no sense. How could this be slaves that serve their will if they are not there anymore? Like, I still think the way I understood it and why I found it so horrifying is really like their minds are locked in their bodies, and they are moved, and they're metal and weird and alien, their own bodies. They look like their own bodies. They're alien and weird. They can't do anything, just used as puppets on strings, and they can't, their consciousnesses are still locked in there. Because I think they are not connected to the warp. And the Catan are not connected to the warp either. As far as I know, perhaps that's wrong, but as far as I know. So, from what I understand is, that's why like the Satan just used them and to create more powerful weapons and stuff, but not to power them up, because it's very chaos-like here. The Catan in this video are very chaos-like, and I thought they were just these bio entities, not even bio, these material entities, like things that just used them and were empowered, like mechanically or like technologically empowered by the Necron, and not by their souls, but weird.
And then, with their new-founded Necron army, they pointed their guns at the old ones, and the Catan continued their domination of the stars.
Yes, because that also makes no sense, like the way he tells it, I guess. Like it makes sense, but the thing okay, that's unfair. It makes sense, but the way I knew it is like they use them then to develop more weapons and more stuff, and this is weird. Like, why would they now suddenly win? Because the Necron didn't win. Like, I imagine Necron versus Old Ones was like an ant running against the mountain and saying, "Oh, I killed you." Like that's what I imagined. So I thought they would just use them for technological advancements and then attack them and fuse their knowledge of the ancientness of space or whatever, I don't know, with the Necron. Yeah, like they just needed working drones.
And their genocide, complete and full genocide of these old ones. The old ones did their best to stave it off. They even created other races, the Eldari and the Orks, to try to fight off the horrifying Necron army and the Catan above them.
I thought mainly the Catan and the Necron were like just the new thing that was on their back now as well. Yeah, I guess it's true. Yeah. Okay, I see how he means it. Yeah. I don't know. I thought the Satan... Oh no, I remember what happens now. I won't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I go ahead again. Yeah.
But there was absolutely no possible chance for them. And the old ones were absolutely extinguished across the galaxy. Their entire race completely removed. Full-on 100% genocide. However,
I thought one or two survived.
However, during all this, the Catan so just infatuated with their victory, started fighting each other for fun, for sport, and for small differences, doesn't matter. The Catan with these overpowered people.
It also sounds very like Eldar. So weird. I never understood it like that, but they are very humanized in his version. Am I supposed to humanize them this much? I thought they were just blobs of plasma things or astral particles or whatever.
They're going to eventually hit each other at some point. And as they began just menially fighting each other, the Eldari and the Orks actually started pushing on the Catan's borders a little bit, giving them a little bit of a run for their money. And as this continued, this is when the Silent King, who retained his consciousness, decided to leap into action and start a full-scale revolt against their Catan masters.
Yeah, that as well. I think they all are conscious. I think he just managed to break the programming, so to speak. He managed to get free from his bonds.
And this revolt was bloody, as the entire Necron army was surged off to destroy these star gods. They were able to, just after suffering horrendous losses, were able to turn the tide of the war. And they took these Catan and they blasted them. Because as these star gods are unkillable, they were able to break them into thousands of shards and entrap them in giant stasis vaults to now actually be slaves to the Necrons.
Ha ha, reverse card maze, I love that.
And with the Necrons having the entirety of their old gods enslaved to them, they realized that soon their race was about to be attacked by the overcoming new races, the Eldari and the Orks. And so what they did is they retreated into giant stasis tombs in order to preserve their energy and their strength for when one day they would be reawakened and they would be able to rule the galaxy that was rightfully theirs.
Yes.
And then some dingus Adeptus Mechanicus guy diddled with a green console, and now the Necrons are back and they see all these primitive races on their lawns.
Great.
And they think, get the fuck off of it. The Necrons are back, super advanced, and they are here to reclaim the galaxy that they so rightfully believe is theirs.
Yes, I love the tank scarab thing in the background. This looks cool.
Now, at tabletop, they're a lot like that. Tons of undead Egyptian skeleton robots that when they die...
He's got the scythe, or whatever you say. I don't know how to pronounce it. You know what I mean? It looks very badass, and he's got an apple as well. Scythe and an apple. Is he gonna cut it with the scythe, or is it gonna throw it at people? See, an apple can be a weapon. I told you before. That's what I meant. An apple can be evil as well.
They just get right back up because they keep on reanimating. Hard to kill. Tons of crazy stuff. You can use the Catan themselves as units to...
Are you sure that those are Catan, or are those just the shards, and the shards take the human form because they wanted to mock them? I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now for me to make this fit. So apparently they are dudes. Yeah. I would have expected it more like that the Necron humiliated by giving working them into these humanoid shapes because they wanted to mock them and hate them for what they did to their bodies, and they whatever. Probably completely wrong, but I don't know. I just thought they were like these liquid whatever or liquid solid whatever things in space.
Fight with. It's pretty cool. The Necrons are one of the three major events in 40k. The Horus Heresy, the Fall of the Eldar, and the Awakening of the Necrons are all pretty substantial events. And the Necrons themselves are pretty dang cool as well. Here's a good quote from a wonderful Dawn of War game. Lucky creatures, as long last you have found the tranquility of death. I was like you once, clinging to life and blind to the truth. When I uncovered the truth, I too shuddered and paled with fear. Deep in these catacombs, I was remade. Here, my brethren slumbered for eons while the living grew like weed. My Lord knew this day would come. He had plans for us all. We would purge this world once more. So come, poor victims of life. We will grant you tranquility in these crypts. Kronos will be a tomb world once more.
Kronos. It's the old Titan. I think it's the father of... Is that the father of the world? The first Titan? I know there's Uranus, Gaia, Kronos. They're all brothers and sisters or whatever. Like, anyway, I like that they're so ancient, and that's why the world is so ancient. It's like one of the first important worlds of life in this universe, and technically it probably is. Like, it's the first humanoid-like thing that started to explore something and that kicked off the story, I guess. Like, I don't count the old ones, but this might be the ground zero, so I like that their world is Kronos.
Necrons are also pretty smug. Trays in the Infinite especially, a little dickhead.
Girl, what?
But speaking of dickheads, last race, let's talk the Tau.
Why dickheads? Why? Someone warned me that he was very anti-Tau, and Luitin as well. So, yeah, I really like the Tau ideas they put that I understood from the lore video I watched about them already. But let's see his take here. I really want to see his take here because I can't wait.
The exact formation of the Tau Empire is not entirely understood. However, a long time ago, many thousands of years ago, in the 40k world that is, some Imperial navigation vessels were going around through different areas, and they saw a primitive race, blue people, smacking each other with sticks and stones. They thought, dumb Xenos race, who gives a shit?
Stupid Xenos!
And they bailed. Then this giant warp storm occurred right in that major area, unable to be breached. Then, once that warp storm 6,000 years later subsided, hello, those little sticks. Well, they decided to actually have no war of any kind and all just unite together under one flag of the Tau Empire. And now they have gigantic starships and Gundam robots and lasers and railguns and mechs, and they are here to...
And yeah, someone in the comments said that a ghost cannon is not a railgun. I think they're so, like, the mechanisms are almost the same. But I just wanted to say that yes, technically you're right, like, because you still have the guiding rail, but it's... I always thought ghost cannons were railguns. But they're like railguns with, what do you say, core? I don't know what the English word is, what you put into a coil. So basically that, a bit like whatever. Anyway, not want to get into that, but yeah, I like their design, the Tau design. What I really like about the Tau is this idea that yes, they are peaceful, and that's great, and everyone is like pulling on one side of the rope, so to speak. Don't know if that's a saying, but you know, they're all working together. But the problem is they had to negotiate the state. Like, what was everyone doing? What was the good in Tau? And they had to negotiate that, and for their solution was like these caste systems, which is horrifyingly enclosing. Like, your life is like predetermined almost, which is like you have no real, like, you can't be creative or stuff when you are not assigned to do that and stuff. Like, it's very, very hard, very harsh stuff. And that's the problem with these kinds of ideas. You have to have the state, and everyone has to agree that's the best state. And if someone doesn't agree with that, they either get ended or they corrupt the whole thing and take it over. So it's not stable. It's not a thing you can probably... I don't think it's a thing you can stably reach, this thing the Tau have. Or like the Tau are also like, they're unstable. They are probably... It's a harsh thing. They are probably going to go horribly wrong in the future. Someone also said that like all the big races had this giant event, that tragedy, and they still have that in front of them. But yeah, let's see.
Ruin your day for the greater good. That is generally the Tau Empire. They have this kind of feeling of this homogenous group. All species can go underneath the banner of the greater good. The greater good is their idea of the fundamental increase and help of all. In fact, they are most likely the most like the Covenant in Halo, where they have the overarching prophets, being the Ethereals, who are actually kind of dicks.
Yeah, the Ethereals, those are the all Tau are equal, but some Tau are more equal. It's so stupid.
And like to pull at strings a little.
Those are the corrupt ABEX I was talking about. So they technically also already corrupted the the probably once great idea of the Tau, but in the end they are like, if one of those ding-dongs is corrupt, everyone's going to be corrupt, and down the line one will at least be corrupt if that has not happened already. So yeah,
little bit, but then you have all these different races directly underneath them, and they all work together in this big group as this large, foreboding race that tries to spread their weirdly pseudo-religious influence across the galaxy.
I don't think it's religious, it is fanatic. It's ideological. So yeah.
Alien is not intrinsically evil. Do not hate him. Pity him, his ignorance.
Okay, I take that back. Or perhaps not take it back, but yes, he's more on point here with the description. Like, this is very, very biblical. Like,
Seek to understand
like that,
his
you know
differences and equate him with his inadequacies. Only then will he accept his place in the greater good.
The greater
that is
good.
generally the Tau. And if you're kind of wondering like what their mainly big shtick is, well, they're all about big robots and mechs. They have laser rifles and rail guns. They got giant mechs with tons of missile pods and heavy rail rifles and rail guns and burst cannons and ion accelerators and void shields and all this stuff. And that is generally what the Tau's all about. But
cool.
You're probably thinking,
it's pretty cool. Like technologically wise, I love that.
Bricky, this doesn't sound that evil. This doesn't sound very grim, dark Warhammer. And you'd be right. The Tau Empire really don't have that much of a horrifying, grim, dark style like everybody else. They're much more younger, new age thing. In fact, they're probably a lot less evil and a lot even better than they are now back in the day, because they liked having like that good guy faction. But a lot of us who really like the dark, depressing style of Warhammer didn't really like it that much. So, see, the Tau get a lot of hate. And
interesting. I understand that why people might not like that. I really understand that. If you have these dark themes and there comes this race that is supposedly good, though I guess they wouldn't explore that much because their idea is pretty obviously. Their idea is pretty obviously leading into at least a very, very, very structured society that the individual will have no fun in. And perhaps they don't need that. Perhaps they are, that's what I thought in the Tau video. Perhaps they are like evolved differently from humans, and we have this thing in the individual that is so creative and special and stuff, and we believe that in many parts of the world, I guess. And they might not have that. They might never have developed it. So perhaps they didn't need it ever. So yeah, perhaps like in their animal stage, they were like doing pheromones and like syncing up with like a capybara. They might like be a capybara. You know, capybara, they are these very, very cool ding-dong animals that everyone loves. So, and then they might have made peace with all the other things, and then they might have evolved, so never needed to develop or never needed this individuality in their culture. And perhaps like that's possible. And then from that point, so from their perspective, it's probably like really not like it's not something they talk into themselves, it's something they are. It's not something they need. So from that point, they might not even be evil. It's just, again, some horrid stuff that's happening is nature then. Like if someone wants to be a pilot, but they can't be a pilot, like they're like the rifleman. So you can't be a pilot if you're a signed rifleman. So if you pilot something, you're like exiled or whatever, hated. Like that is something, yeah, that would be completely normal. That is harsh, but like it's like, yes, like you're a worker bee. Why are you producing offspring? You're a worker bee. Stop that. Like we don't need that. It's just not needed. And yeah. So the question is, are they individualistic or not? If they are individuals, then it's horrifying. Then it's a very horrifying thing. That's the question. I don't know that. If anyone knows our Tau, do they have their own personalities and needs? Or are they like synced to everyone else in a way that they just don't need that, and they just seem horrific to us? I think the horrific thing is then that they meet us as humans, and we have that. So then it gets very horrifying. Then it gets really horrifying. If you give it time to develop that, it's gonna be very, very horrifying. That would be also so good as a story. I mean, it already is a good story, but yeah. I think that's it, right? I think that's it. I think we should not look at the Tau from the Tau perspective, because they are probably, to them it's really normal. Like from their perspective, everything is okay. Just evolution wise, it's like they are that way. It's like the biologically are that way. But for us, it's so horrifying if you go into their into those ideas with individuality that we have, and they force you into that. Like they destroy you or assimilate you in the worst, in this constraining way. That's so horrifying, so horrifying. I love that. It's such a good horror concept. But and for us, that's why we hate. Most of us hate these ideological societies where you have to do this or else. I guess, but perhaps I've trailed off. I trailed off again. Sorry. I digressed again, but yeah. So I think the Tau have potential for extreme horror if you slowly let their lore develop into something very horrifying. You could easily do that.
And a lot of that hate isn't necessarily unjustified. It's mainly from a tabletop perspective, but as you can see from all the visuals I've shown you recently, they don't really fit in the 40k universe very well.
I think they fit perfectly. I love their design. I think they fit perfectly. I know they're not this goth design, which I love. I love goth designs, goth stuff. I love it. Really cool stuff. But it symbolizes that they are young through them having modern old stuff, so to speak. I love that it's an inversion of today.
They lack that super dark, dramatic, kind of high gothic level the Imperium has.
And their cleanness. It's so clean. All of that is so clean. And again, this idea of them being this clean thing, it's horrifying if you play that right. You just have to play it right. And then this cleanness is so unsettling.
They don't have the weird kind of grungy stuff that Chaos or say the Orks do. And the Necrons and the Eldar have their own specific style as well. The Tau really do look like something out of Gundam. And while that isn't necessarily a bad thing, it does definitely not fit too well. There's that. There's also the tabletop problem. In tabletop, Tau are horrible at melee combat, but
oh yeah, I heard that they're good at range combat, I guess?
Exceptionally good at range combat. So they blast everyone from really, really far away, and they have a million rules to make it so that it's nearly impossible for you to get into melee combat.
How? I need to, is there something like two people playing and one playing Tau and it's just so horrifying and the other guy completely loses it or whatever? Oh god, I don't know. The other person just completely loses it. There will be I kind of need at least a sketch about that. If you know something like that, just please let me know. I would love to react to it. I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
So it basically just forces you to bottleneck the game into one specific gameplay style, which is gun to gun. And if you're doing gun to gun, they're going to win every time because they're the Tau, and the Tau are really damn good.
I mean, but they are hard counted by Orks, I guess. And not, but yeah.
At shooting. So it's one of those things that make the Tau generally rather hated, and a lot of different reasons for that, both from style and such. But this is actually one of the things I wanted to end this video with, is that the Tau, while they have their issues, you should not be discouraged from playing them. I'll make plenty of Tau weeaboo jokes, of course I will, but it's all generally in good fun. Anyone who legitimately doesn't want you to play a faction is an idiot, and you shouldn't be giving them the time of day. You pick what you think is cool and what you like.
I would not pick Tau. I can tell you, I know already that I will not buy Tau at the end of the year. I will buy another faction. I have to know more. But I will not buy Tau because I feel they're not fleshed out. And I feel there's a lot of potential for great horrors. Like things like 1984 and stuff, like those stories, those kinds of stories could be horrifying. Like you could have so many like slowly in this the timeline we are in, slowly there are been these reports from converted worlds and very, very shady things and horrific things and everyone not caring about them and like these like 1984 or stuff like that, or a Big Brother or like all these horror, like these, you know what I mean? Something like that. And then it would be, and I mean, there were so many brutalities there as well. and you could make them so scary by doing them and describing that nobody cared. Everyone was like, yeah, it's normal day. They just shot him. I mean, he flew that plane. He was a medic. Why did he fly the plane? Yeah, the engines failed. But that's not your job, mate. It's just tough luck then. So let's take him. Let's like, you know what? We should tie him to an engine. And we should let him like get like halfway chucked up by that engine, and then we should roast him slowly and boil him, because like if he wants to be an engine, let's make him an engine. And everyone's like, yeah, it's completely natural, completely adequate punishment. That's what we do. So then they have this machine, and then they will put him in there, and then or she and will horrifically be destroyed. Like, not tortured, that's not what they do, I feel, but it's like just like a very surgical thing, just surgically, very surgically killed. And then everyone's like, yeah, that was sad. And perhaps you had some dialogue with the person with other Tau before, and they were like friends, and they all were like completely, oh, it's okay. And then someone starts crying, perhaps another human starts crying about the Tau, and then like, I know they're the Tau Empire, technically the humans would be Tau as well, and then that person will be singled out as well, and they will be horribly punished again for crying or for questioning the Tau way, and they will then be brainwashed because the humans have this genetic fault that they sometimes do that, and they will get to re-education. Something like that. I need that with Tau, and if I have stuff like that with Tau, I might consider them a scary faction that is very like this clean surgical thing that comes to you and will just make you better. You know what I mean? That's what I need from them, and that's not the vibe I get. And I think that's the potential they have. So that's why I really like the Tau and their idea, but not gonna get them.
In Warhammer, especially now, factions get better and they get worse. They grow and then they fall. You should only be playing what you think is cool. You like the look, you like the models. If you're talking tabletop, that is what you should be going for every time, is what you think is badass, because things change all the time. But the universe of Warhammer has so much going for it. Every faction has something interesting. Every character has a story, and there's a million stories to be told.
Yeah.
The universe is vast and exciting, and while it is dark, depressing, and horrible, that is the damn charm.
Yes, 1,000 times agree with this great guy. I really like him. It's brilliant videos. Because I really like. I know I have also got some people said he's he's more surface and he gets some stuff wrong. I've got the feeling as well, but perhaps it's just another way of thinking about things or looking at things. But there was nothing where I said, okay, why? It was very well made, this video. I like his style. He's a very you really feel his passion for, especially the tabletop game as well. And like, that's a dude I would love to play a game with. I mean, I have no clue how to play it yet, but like, that's like the dude I would love to sit down with and just have some fun, play the game. And yeah, also like his mentality with, if someone plays Tau, don't bully them. Like, what a nice dude. And I hope he's got many more cool games that he will love and play. And yeah, I really appreciate what he's doing, and that he links the game a bit, because that's something that was missing in the other videos, the game. Like, I like that as well. I want more about the game as well. So I might react to like, I've seen some. I mean, the YouTube algorithm recommended that video of two dudes speed painting some statues, I think, or some figures. I might react to that, or like someone playing, or like I'm interested in that as well. But yeah, like we're almost at the close of this video, so we are all. I've been recording for more than 2 hours, because this is just. I probably rambled again too much, but I hope you're still here, and if you are, thanks. And yeah, let's see what he says, because I agree 1,000 times. The stories, the potential of this universe, and I love it because it's a bit fantasy. I love a bit of fantasy, and horror. I love horror so much. I love horror stories. It's like one of the most greatest things there is. Love horror stories. It's like my thing. And I love sci-fi as well. It's probably because of my profession. But yeah, love science fiction, love it so much. Love horror, love sci-fi horror. Didn't know there was so much great sci-fi horror out there to read and perhaps watch and perhaps in years to come watch, and can't wait. I can't wait to make up my own canon in parts, and this is so cool. So, but yeah, I'm gonna let him finish it.
And out of everything I've told you in these 2 videos, if anything you can take away is the reason why so many of us are so into this series and why we like it so much. Because with so much variety, such an expansive universe, and so much that can be done, you can find yourself having a pretty great time. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it's been informative to you.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see more of me, Bricky, we have twitch.tv.
Yeah, I will definitely do more Bricky videos as well. That really sold me. I don't know what this video was. What did I even watch? Did I watch someone else's video? Because in that video he just made stupid joke after stupid joke. Like, it's completely different. Perhaps I confused him. So I'm sorry if it was the feeling I've got now. It wasn't from him, that video that I watched. Because this is like, it's just an honest guy with a passion. I love this dude. What a cool guy. Like all of them as well. Like everyone I watched videos from. But I really like that he's having this really, really personal note through his, like the way he talks. And you really feel that this is a guy who wants people to get into this, who wants to aid them, who's very, 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 very helpful person. And a great person. So can't wait for more. Might check out his Twitch, but I don't know. I don't really watch Twitch. I don't. I'm a YouTube guy. I always was. But yeah, you made are the best. Thanks. Please give this dude 1,000 likes if you can. He probably has them already, but he deserves that so much. Like, that's cool. And I now understand why people wanted me to watch this one first. Because if someone is, I guess if someone is a bit put off by, oh god, weird church spaceships and warp and horror, and oh, is that for me? And he's like really easing you into it. I love that. So yeah, that was the video. And so for everyone who stayed here with me through this, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Perhaps like subscribe if you want. I will do more content like this, of course. Also do other stuff like Wheel of Time. Sometimes I watch horror movies. I try to do more, like I watched Hellraiser. Will be out tomorrow probably. And if you have recommendations, yeah, just give them in the comments. And I think I will do it every time now that at the end of the video I will answer some comments I didn't get around to answering from the previous video. And yeah, if you like horror stories, also check out my horror stories. A great person on YouTube reads them sometimes when I send them to him, and he's brilliant. Like, the job he does that would cost a fortune to let a professional do. So his work is absolutely stunning. And if you want to see my horror attempts, my little ones, feel free to check them out. They're like probably here in the description as well. And yeah, that was it. And if you want to go now, go. And I hope you have a great day and see you soon. Bye. And for you, perhaps some of you want me to now react to the comments, which I want to do because I'm so sorry that I did not have the time to go through them. Because as I said, I was sick and took some time off, and I was very, very stressed, and I just needed a break, but not from the videos, from work. Like I love doing the videos, but I just had to like calm down, and I was down like with flu, and yeah, now I'm back. So, but there were 91 comments, and that's a lot. So I will go through them now and answer all of them that I haven't responded to yet, and you will hopefully see that. And if not, I'm sorry, but yeah, just hope you will see that I did it down the line. So okay, let's go. So we've got, let me see, yeah, so the comments, I will just go through them, and I will just answer them, and give you the hearts, and there's thumbs up. So, and I will try to pronounce your names perhaps, because you're also awesome taking the time commenting here. Thank you so much for taking your valuable time to help me understand things better. So yeah, so we've got someone from Korea, but I can't pronounce that. Yeah, Bricky attempt number 2. Yes, I absolutely enjoyed this video. I loved it. It was a great video. It was different. It was not that lore heavy and stuff, but I like the spirit behind it a lot. Yeah, technically I missed a faction, the Votan. Yes, I've heard of the space dwarfs. I'm not a fan of... I'm not a dwarf fan. You'll probably hate me now. Like in lores. I think dwarves are, yeah, they're mine. And I know they've got these cultures and stuff like in Lord of the Rings. And I never really like, what was the... Like, it's probably greed what they have as a fault. And stubbornness. But how do they fit into it? They didn't need dwarves. I don't know. I don't know. I could have thought of more creative, weird alien things that they might have found. But yeah, I mean, I understand. They have the normal Warhammer as well, and there are dwarves, so why not put dwarves in here? It's probably, you know, why not? I just hope they have good lore. They probably have good lore, and if I know their lore, or when I know the lore, I will probably think differently about them. Yeah. Yeah. So no one talks about them because they're like the Eldar, not for everyone. Okay. Okay. They're minor. And it's okay, this video is provoked. Yeah, yeah. Squads, I don't know what squad means and minor. Yeah, okay. I don't understand it, but yeah, okay. I see. So thumbs up to all of you here. Yeah, dwarves is like, because, and I've read a book called The Dwarves from a German author. The book was pretty okay, but it was in the end a bit boring, but not boring, but very like low level, and I don't know. Okay, so the guy at 1848 is Gorge van Dyer. Okay, he failed a coup d'etat, so he's probably in a horribly torturous state now. Velstad von Austerlitz. Is that a Dark Souls 2 Dick? Velstad? From Velstad the Royal Aegis? Yeah, and here, yeah, I forgot the names, but you saw them. When the Horus Heresy happened, over half of the Dark Angels Legion turned traitor, yes. And the others have tried to suppress that. Okay, yeah. The remnant of those traitors whom they are hunting is also working so hard to undermine their position. Yeah, okay. The Dark Angels will basically abandon their allies in war zones, where they are absolutely needed just to capture or kill the traitor brethren and sacrifice their allies in the process. It's a bloody mess. Yeah, that really sounds like a bloody mess. And, okay, so Flamer. Yeah, some people told me. So, Flamer and Melter. So, Flamethrower, yeah, that's a Flamethrower. Yeah, I think I read this one. Melter is anti-armor, is probably like plasma heater or whatever. Yeah, melter guns. Okay, Jürgen. We've got Jürgen. Great. Hello, Jürgen. Friend of mine is called Jürgen. Caiaphas Kane's right-hand man. I don't know who that is. Okay, it's an anti-tank weapon. It's an anti-tank weapon. Okay, and then there's stuff about the game which I hope you excuse me for not understanding. So they ignore cover. How? Okay, and apparently some people didn't get flamethrowers. Unfortunate. Okay, the official position of the Adeptus Mechanicus, we will get to them, is that the Emperor is the Omnissiah. Yeah. Okay, so that's how the Machine God, the Omnissiah, and the Motive Force, the whole... What's the Motive Force? Oh yeah, I remember the Motive Force, yeah. Yeah, by the way, currently, poll is still up, so if you still want to vote for something other than Horus Heresy next, and I will start, like I said, I think tomorrow with the animation thing, vote for it. Okay, so remember, gods are in the real, are real in this universe, yeah. Okay, so it's that, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, that explains it, thank you. So the mechanicists pray demons into their weapons. Ideas. So cool. Troy says it before there was Yuva. I hope I don't butcher your names. So Velstad says again, before the Horus Heresy, the Adeptus Custodes is the personal army of the Emperor. Okay, yeah. Like the what are they called from the president? You know what I mean? Secret Service, yeah. Okay, they're not Space Marines. Not Space Marines, yeah. Okay, so they are grown in a tube. Oh god, so horrific stuff again. Okay, so it's very, very hard to get one like that. After Horus Heresy, they are still bodyguards. I mean, yeah, they continue that. Okay, so their numbers are... Yeah, okay, so... War in the Webway sounds cool, like an event. What is that? I don't know. Cut their numbers from 10,000 to 1,000. Yeah, okay, so they need more numbers. Yeah. Yeah, and they probably are very ashamed to... because they failed another Emperor's Zombie Throne. Yeah. Okay, they're also meant to be scholars. I see. Thanks for clearing that up. Yes. Yeah, every faction sees themselves as the good guy. I think every faction sees themselves as right. I think that's more like it. Right and wrong and not good and bad. Perhaps that's, yeah. Yeah, two of the primers had all records of the web clean. And no one knows why. Really? You don't know why? Why don't we know that? It's so weird, but I love it. Matter and shoot streams of chemicals. They melt. Yeah, okay. What happened to Cadia? Yeah, what happened to Cadia? Don't spoil it, but what happened to Cadia? What happened to Cadia? Higgs, I don't know, Higgs. I don't know. Cribib Alibaba. To answer your machine, Nick question. Mech hate Necrons, okay, why? Okay, because they see them as souls automatons. I get that. Yeah, they are about the merge of man and machine, or just machine. Yeah, I still wonder how they transferred the Necron minds, because I still assume they did that. I don't know. Yeah, and Angelus has the same thing. Yeah, I see. Yeah, he says, okay, yes, I guess I understand. It is, the factions are very basic. Like, I feel that because, like, I've done a 3-hour reaction on this deep dive from Lewitton of the Dark Eldar. Something like that, you know, because I already watched the very deep dives, which are still surface, I feel, which is absolutely mind-blowing. But yeah, I get that. I understand. So I'm actually pretty glad I watched this last as well, because it was a good refresher, and I could connect some things to the tabletop game, and I didn't, like, I don't know. Okay, adapt is ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, I will write that down later. I promise. Thanks. Hermeus Mora, what an honor. Yeah, the Orks are not part fungi, but yeah, he skips a lot of Orc stuff. I feel Orks were really very, very, like, I'm so sorry, we'll get to them in, like, I promise you. Given the stuff on Harleys, I think he's more of an Imperium guy. Yeah, this is more of a tabletop thing. Yeah, I agree. That's the thing I thought as well. He really tried to present those that you can play, and yeah. 10 jobs. Yes, it has been recommended to me by the YouTube algorithm already, so I have that on my list. Yes. Yeah, Terrence. Oh, that was from Anthrax Crap. Okay. Terrence Noren said Bricky is an active player of the 40k tabletop. Just recently. Okay, he was at the tabletop tournament. That's actually good. I would like to go there, like visit. I'm probably too bad to play, but yeah. He is a memer a bit, but he's very subtle. I think he's pretty subtle. Like he's not shouting in my ear. Yeah. So he has an, oh, he is the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. Okay. And he has got co-hosts. Lost Mute who mains Orks. Okay. Ah, that's cool. That's very cool. Okay, and Storm Needs Troopers, who also commented a lot. Thanks for the comments. He's arguing more for that he has a lot of maybes and headcanon in these things. Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, so I have to be careful a bit. But I know what, like, you saw me in this video. I made up my own headcanon already. Like, I think What I will say is I will not pretend that my headcanon is real. Like, I always be like, yes, I don't know. I will just think like this and have some fun with it. And if I am proven wrong, then okay, I just didn't know. So yeah. I don't know if, yeah, he might not have the deep lore understanding Storm needs to fit. I agree, but I would also argue that he has a lot of passion for the tabletop. And so getting into the tabletop game, I think it was like, he was basically telling someone, yeah, pick the army you want and have some fun and read up on them on your own. This was just an overview. So yeah, like getting into 40k is probably not the best. I agree. But into the tabletop game and to warm up to it if you're unsure, I think it's the best. Yeah. Yeah, and now Jordan says yes. Yeah, you're fighting here in the comments. Please don't fight in the comments. But yeah. Perhaps some. Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah. I think I think Storm needs just wanted to express that he doesn't like the lore part of his videos, which I like. I understand both your points here. I get that. Like, he's the tabletop dude, and you feel it. And he's got passion. He wants people to not be afraid to get into the passion. And yes, he the lore part we have to see. I also have the feeling that there are some very rough things he said, but it's fine. So you don't all. So Charlie says his video on all the Space Marines is good. Yeah, I think that's the one I saw and I didn't understand. So I might like that one. Yeah, but we will go there down the line. Yeah, Tyranids are not evil because they are hungry and we have food. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I also don't consider like Tyranids are as evil as, like I said, a fox eating a rabbit. Okay, why are they? Yeah, so Sky Ranger. Oh, and position. I forgot some names. I'm sorry if I forget names to read them, but you can see them here. I hope. It's a Storm army, so you need many infantry models. Yeah, Imperial Guards. Yeah, that makes them of course expensive. Many tanks. Okay, so you have to. Yeah, okay. So I see. Yeah. Oh God. $60 for a model. That's a lot. That's a lot. I know they're expensive. That's why. I will only start small, collecting small when I start down the line. Yeah. So I've not seen Requiem. I've not seen Puss in Boots. I've seen the death scenes. I don't know. Does he have no redeeming qualities? Is Jack Horner the big dude? He was funny, laughed at him. So this is redeeming quality. Like, he's cartoonishly evil. I think a cartoonishly evil villain is not a real villain. Like, I don't, but I can't really. No, I can't say it. I can't answer that because I haven't seen the movie fully. I've seen the death scenes and skipped through some parts. So I can't. You might be right on that. I don't know. I just don't know. So some were the Slaanesh problem doesn't matter because they were the same before the fall of the Eldar. I don't know if the Slaanesh problem doesn't matter. I mean, she will eat them. If they don't bring her souls, she will eat them. So okay, yeah, the Void Dragon. I've heard that one. So yeah, the Emperor in prison, Void Dragon, and Mars. Okay. And that might be an influence on them. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. I got that as well. Like the Trinity part. I can't wait for a deeper explanation of the Trinity part of the Mechanicus, but okay. And AI is the highest form of heresy for the mechanics. Yeah, because they have this warp mechanic thing then, apparently. So, yeah. And yeah, Age of Strife, horrible stuff. I agree, Requiem. Yeah. I really would love to discuss the villain thing with you and the others. Like, this is something I might live stream that one day, perhaps if someone, or perhaps do a live stream and doing that, we might do that because that's something I love. Like, what is a villain? What makes him cool? What's a good villain? That's a very cool thing to talk about. So, yeah, I really want to talk to about this a lot more, but not here. That would be like too much, because we are like rendering this is gonna take forever, and I hope someone is watching still, but yeah, don't know. We need to talk about that down the line. I want the villain question answered. So okay, so they can. Yeah, okay. Okay, so there is an allusion to a story I didn't know about, but I hope I will get to know about. So Magnus Redford reboot Gilman. Okay, and some Harlequin apparently tried to invade the palace. I don't get this sentence though. Do you mean that why would you waste the best you have standing around when almost nothing happens? I mean it's the almost. You know, I don't know what I said in the video, but I'm not gonna go to that now because that would derail that, I think. But yeah, I think like yeah, that's the point. Almost, it's not 100%. So they're there. Yeah. Okay, again, Bolson explains to me again this stuff with the Necrons. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, okay, and you, Hamir, is probably referring to the shard. Yeah, the Imperial Guard, the Tyranids, and the Orks all count as hold armies. Okay, what does that mean? Just a bunch of small dudes. Okay. Okay, so yeah, okay, so Space Marines are versatile. I see, yeah. Yeah, I see. They are like the main faction, I have the feeling. Yeah. I have that feeling. So Exom says, okay, the Adeptus Arbiters are playable. I don't know what that is, and I don't know what a Junkrat or an FBI is. I mean, I know the FBI, of course, but it's probably not that what I think about. Oh, 2 missing legions to make that. Oh, that's actually cool. I like that. Ah, that's cool. That's a nice nod. That's nice. That's cool. Okay, and again, the Necron. I think I will. Yeah, the Necron relationship seems cool. Want to know more about it? Definitely want to. Yeah, the Void Dragon. Yeah, the Void Dragon stuff. That sounds cool. I need more of that. I need more of that. Okay, so there's apparently an asshole, Gorge Vandir. Okay, they were called Brides of the Emperors. Chrissy, thanks for that information. Yes, so I don't know why, but we will find out, I guess. Okay, the Imperial Knights aren't Titans, I see. Okay, yeah, Titans are probably like these weird Zords, like the Gipsjäger things. Michael, hi Michael. Yeah. The Mechanicus game. Oh, Mechanicus exploring Necrons. That sounds fun. Is that like a board game? That sounds fun. That might be cool. That sounds very cool. Is it a deck building game? Yeah, that's cool. I might let's play that a bit. So, oh no, so it seems to be a computer game. I see. Yeah, I will probably buy a tower PC in 1 or 2 months, and then we can stream stuff, or perhaps I will not stream it, but let's play some stuff like Dark Tide and so on. And perhaps I've seen there's a Total War, Warhammer 40k. Sounds cool as well, but I've never played Total War games, so yeah, okay. Necrons again. Sky Ranger tells me that yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because they want to get him. Yeah, it's like the opposite as well. They want to turn into flesh again. I see. Yeah, I see. Yeah, by modern standards, by modern cozy non-war standards, every faction is evil, but the moment the war starts, all of these perspectives are normal perspectives I think you can take. Yeah. But I've talked a lot about this here in this video, so I'm not going to go too deep into this again. Yeah, they messed up. Yeah. Okay, so flash tears don't sound nice. Okay, yeah. Yeah, of course they're not good people. That's what no one says. I think. At least I never intended like that. It's more like it's more like there is good in them. Like from their perspective, I can see why they could be good, because they have an aim that they do everything for, and everything is horrible, and their aim might be shit. But I understand they have an aim, and I understand why they have an aim, and yeah. So you know that's what I think about that. So, but they're not good people, of course, by our standards, not. And perhaps you can be a good space marine from a space marine standpoint, like for example. But then that doesn't mean that you are, like, from our perspective today, a good person, you know. And what a good person is also different for every person. So yeah. Penitent engine, yeah. Gojo Bandira again, a bad man. He's got megalomania, great, insane, and is a politician. Nice. Oh, yeah, it's like reigned in the Imperium for a time. The Reign of Blood. Okay, nice. Seems peachy. Okay, yeah, it's a flamethrower and melter as cannon. Yeah, it's fusion cannon. Okay. So I don't really know what a melter is. It might be chemical, might be a fusion cannon, might be plasma. Yeah, but it's anti-tank weapon. I see. Okay, so it's a point system oversimplified. Both players choose a point limit. Okay, so you say we want a battle of this scope, and then you have, okay, so you have points here. Okay, I see. That's cool. Okay, I see. Okay, I see. Yeah, they're so different. Yeah, I get it. Tabletop is like to have fun. Oh, Dagon of the Depths. I love your username. Dagon. The Emperor never met the Tyranids or Necrons while he was upright. Ah, I see, Brandon. Thanks. Yeah. Wonder what he would have done. Wonder what he would have done. Okay, Storm needs tubers. I think we've been through this. Why? Oh no, we haven't. But yeah, Planet K was destroyed in a crusade. Okay, I will not read more about Cadia. I don't want to spoil myself. I just know it's sad. Yeah, the Space Legions. This is cool. I like gaps in lore. Yet Arbiter, I've got him on my list. Don't worry, I've got him on my list. Oh, and again, this Dick. So he apparently seems to be Dick. Thanks, Mr. B, for telling me. Okay, and I answered. The Age of Apostasy is very, very... That sounds cool. Yeah, I will get to them, Mr. B. I will get to them. They seem cool. Oh, there are anime clips from him. Okay, I will make sure to perhaps first watch the clips and then read up about read up on him. But yeah, yeah, we had a little conversation. Yeah, the surface stuff. Yeah, Kodamon. Thanks for telling me the stuff about the. Yeah, you were the one who told me about the. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so yeah, the painting, we'll see what horrific things I will create with my paint, but you will probably laugh, and you are allowed to do that. That's why I will show you, so. Okay, there are unused parts. Oh, you can, that's cool. Okay, thanks for the tip. Thank you a lot for the tip. Yes, I see. So you can, like, try your best and fail, and try your best and fail, and then you might get something decent. So there's also an answer. And to the others, thanks for the comments as well, of course, but I've answered them. So Okay, small patches. Yeah, yeah, right. I asked if the rules are like version updates or patches. Okay, new edition. What edition are we on? 9th, okay. A few years, okay. There will be a 10th edition soon. That's cool. Let's see what that is gonna be about. I might react to stuff there, or you might send me videos to react to there. I will perhaps not understand, but I want to be up to date as well. So, yeah. Okay, so there's core rule books. Arcs of Omen books are being released. And I think someone as well told me that the dwarves are coming back with that version, but I don't know. So Visk says the lost primers are gone, yeah. Okay, Abaddon. So he apparently knew Scadia, but I don't know, it was split apart. I don't think that was just nukes Visk, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Okay, thanks Aaron for clearing that up. Yeah, I was wondering about the list. That made no sense to me. Yeah, I know the Imperium probably has a navy or a space fleet, so yeah. Yeah, I guess that. But yeah, thanks for confirming. Okay, or perhaps micro. So I still don't know what a melter is. You guys all seem to be unsure what a melter is either. So as well. I don't know. You might have to tell me again. You might start a melter war in the comments. I'm fine with it as long as you don't call yourself names. That's not like if you as long as you're civil, you can melter war all you want in the comments. Yeah. Yeah, the Emperor of the Old Throne. Oh god, it goes up. Okay. Oh god, this is scary. So there are mechanisms in the Golden Throne that are like, oh god, it's so bad. That guy is a barely behaved or stupid person. Ah, don't be that guy. Ah, I see. Okay, okay. I get it. I get what the guy is. He's that guy. Ah, I see from the memes. I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have understood that. Okay. Yeah, like cheaters and liars. That's stupid. Always, I only cheat against the computer. Because he cheats against me all the time as well. So I think that's okay. We're even then. Yeah, Sorrow Dusk says here. Yeah, the pendant engine as well. Oh god. This is bad, yeah. Oh, great. They are horror suits. Oh god. Yeah, I understand why it's called pendant engine. Jesus Christ. Okay, and Cadia again. Again, what is with Cadia? Interest, okay, belong to the Necrons, covered the planet with pylons. Oops. Okay. And they stabilized the warp. Okay, so apparently something crashed and the galaxy was ripped in half, but I don't know. I just don't know. Was that... Oh, it's a perpetual motion engine, I see. Okay. That's cool. Oh, I love that. That's very cool. I love why they have perpetuum mobiles. I love that. That's so cool. The Emperor, yeah. 16 universal truths. Life is directed motion. Yeah, technically it is. Like, that would be a very Newtonian thing to say. Newtonian physics, but I get it. And say no, so the spirit is the spirit. We will go through these, I think, in the... Yeah, we'll read them. Intellect is the understanding of knowledge. Yes, probably. Wisdom is then something different. But yes, sense is the basis form of intellect. Sentience is the basis form of intellect. Yes, probably. Understanding is the true path to comprehension. Yes, of course. Isn't that the same? Comprehension is the key to all things. Perhaps. I'm just answering as a physicist. The Messiah knows all, comprehends all. Yeah, I mean, it's in the name, of course. I'm being converted right now. You see me being converted. The alien mechanism is a perversion of the true path. Don't know which one that is. Oh, all other technologies probably. Soul is the conscience of sentience. What does that even mean? Soul is the conscience of sentience. Soul is the conscience of sentience. Yes, I see. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. As a soul can be bestowed only by the Omnissiah. Yeah. Soul sentience is the enemy of all. Yeah, it's AI which is not connected to the warp. The knowledge of the ancients stands beyond all question. The soul sentience is the enemy of all. Yeah, the machine spirit guards the knowledge of the ancients. The flesh is fallible, but ritual horrors the machine spirit. Honors the machine spirit. To break with ritual is to break with faith. Yeah, I get it. Okay, well, Melta, not laser, not plasma. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's like it agitates things at a subatomic level and makes them heat up. And it's a laser. It's a laser with electromagnetic rays that you can't see. It's like a microwave, and like, no, it's not a laser. It's the same principle. A microwave and a laser function by, but on another wavelength. I get it. Okay. Meta gun. Each time an attack. Okay, I don't understand all of this. The melter gun, range 12, assault 1 shot, strength 8, armor pen -4, d6 damage. I know what a d6 is. Yay! But I'm sorry, Dusk. I will not understand anything of this. You can supercharge a plasma shot, adding +1 strength and damage, but rolling a 1 on the ballistic skill test backfires. The user is killed. That's sad. I'm sorry, I don't understand this, but when I understand this is probably. Yeah, I mean, I guess the gists, I guess. Yeah, it's like spread, and so you can have like spread fire, directed fire, and that's cool. That's very cool. Thanks for telling me. 40 per turn. Mars pattern, Warlord Titan costs 1,000. Oh god. What? Why? Can't you? I would 3D print that. I would just 3D print it. Like, I've got one, I would just 3D print it. Would you allow that? Like, if I 3D printed it and you couldn't see the difference? If I would be able to do that? With one of the big things, of course. Like, would players accept it, or do you have to play with the original TM? I don't know. So 5,500 points worth of model. That's wow. Can you even play that? 80 dead guardsmen per turn. Okay. That's yeah, okay. You only need an additional 88 guardsmen to walk over the bodies of the fallen, step into firing range. That's actually pretty funny. So funny. Yeah, cool. It's a gun. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I should watch Major Kill. I have watched his Orks videos, so you might check that out. He had, like, I liked his humor, but because he didn't explain to me what warg was, I was a bit annoyed by his warg screams. But other than that, he was pretty funny. Had some memey good stuff, but I want more deep lore. So and some connections to tabletops. So like Luton, Warhammer, and Warhammer 40k Theory. I watched their videos for some factions. They were like very deep lore. I like that. And Bricky was very passionate and connected to the tabletop game. That's why I liked his video a lot. Collector's assassins is of the few beings that can destroy a soul. Oh god, I didn't want to know what that means. Erased from existence. Okay, yeah, the points. Thanks. Yeah, prototype XCC 609 and Orlando. I think. Oh, I thought. I'm sorry, Orlando. I almost missed it. Now that you know about the Imperial Guard, yep. Backstory. Yes, we will get there. I promise. It's a lot, but we will get there. We will get everywhere. R3 armies a lot. Yeah. For 40 tabletop to play, yes. For Laurie Ellen Termy, no. I don't know who Laurie Ellen Termy is. It sounds Austrian or Swedish. Yes, I stories with style. That's the channel. Thanks, Aninja. Thanks for the compliment. Yes, I like focusing. Like I want to dive into new worlds. I learn. Like when I do stuff like this, like it's funny. Like I like doing this all my life, and now I just recorded. Like I did it with Dune as well. The Dune universe. It's completely new. I like dove in. All of that is online on my channel if you want to check it out. But I really like to get into these. I want to take them seriously. I want to see what greatnesses and horrors lie in the world, because like I said, love horror, love sci-fi, love fantasy, love good stories. Just love good stories. So important in life, I think. One of the most important things in lives. Yeah, horror research is very complex. Yeah, I know. I will try to scratch the surface tomorrow. And yeah, I will. Yeah, I will definitely get more into this. So we've got 2 more people. So Kaito told me, yeah, I know that a bit. It's like, yeah, big event. I know. Kadia was, yeah, Kaito. I'm not gonna spoil that for me. And so I know something crashed into Kadia, but yeah, yeah. So owning one army 1,000, well, that's so much. Like, but it's also like probably pretty solid in like value investment. You know, if you have it, you have it. I mean, some people buy, I don't know, cacti. No, they don't. They don't do that. Sometimes people buy, what's it called, a koi carp or whatever, or like, I don't know. You know. Yeah, I know chaos. Yeah, they call it. Yeah, I know. We saw that today. Yes, the Emperor was right. Chaos was the biggest threat to humanity. Yeah, but I would argue Tyranids are the biggest threat to life other than Tyranids. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Horror the Custodians never left Terra, but after they saw the damage it caused for them not to join the fight. Yeah, they probably effed that up. Yeah. Okay. So some, yeah, protected solar system. Yeah. And yeah, okay, I see. Oh, they've been known to stop wars. That's actually cool. Yeah, very efficient. Tasmo Khan, he says, yeah, okay, the placement. Yes, I see. Yes, thanks. Adeptus Arbiters are more or less the police force. I see. Okay. Yeah. The other 2 legions. I know, mates. I know. Anyways, that was it. I'm done now. I will now render this, put it up. Hope you have fun with this video. And have a great day. And thanks for watching if you're still here. Like, comment if you made it to the end. of an idiot rambling and getting into this universe and mixing his thoughts in with thoughts of Bricky the Great. And yeah, can't wait for more. So Horus Hosted cinematic tomorrow. And let's go. Let's get into this. And yes, see you soon. Bye.